Hello and welcome to the Kia Oval on this balmy Sunday afternoon for one of the glamour ties in the South Group. It's Surrey against Kent Spitfires in the Men's Vitality Blast South Group, with both teams having started the tournament in sprightly fashion, winning 2 of their 3 fixtures to date. You feel like this is a big one really between 2 informed teams that kicked off with back-to-back wins. They slipped up in their most recent fixtures, but there is quality from top to bottom in both teams and some fascinating matchups within this one. So this is a big game with a lot riding on it. The chance to go 3-1 or 2-2 in a tight group. It has the feel of a real hefty fixture, this one. At least on paper, these are 2 likely qualifiers for the last 8. And so with the toss having happened earlier in the piece, we want to just see what took place there because it feels like a big one.
Thank you very much, Gav, and I'm joined by a couple of other Sams as well, of course, from Kent Spitfires, Sam Billings, their captain, and Surrey's Sam Curran. I've also got our special guests, Hugo and Eliza, who once again are going to toss the coin. Eliza's got the coin. You hold on 1 second. Sam is going to call it when it goes up in the air, so we want to see it nice and high, flipping round and round. Are you ready, Sam and Sam? We're just looking at the coin. It's got a head and a tail. Everyone happy? Here we go then. Eliza, 3, 2, 1, up in the air. Tails is the call. It's a tails. So we'll have a quick chat with Sam Billings. Sam, you've won the toss. What are you going to do?
Yeah, we're going to have a bowl. Looks a really good wicket, always is here. So, yeah, we're going to hopefully restrict them and chase them down.
So Kent Spitfires winning the toss and bowling. A pretty good start for you guys. Level on points with table toppers Surrey. Happy with how things have gone so far?
Yeah, played really well in the first couple of games. Not kind of a performance to forget last time out at home, but I think T20 it happens like that. So brush it on the carpet, and then great game today. Obviously a brilliant place to play cricket here and against a really top team. So 2 top teams going head to head should be exciting.
And always pleasing for a captain when different people are chipping in with contributions, yourself included. Looks like a nice, well-balanced side with everyone doing their bit.
Yeah, we've probably got one of the more balanced sides that we've had in the last couple of years. So it's great, obviously, for us that Zach's back and playing beautifully. So, yeah, like I said, we've got experience and quality all the way down the order. So, yeah, it's just about putting it one step in front of the other.
And any changes for you?
Yeah, a few changes. Unfortunately, Tawanami Yeye misses out on concussion from the other night. So Harry Finch comes in for him. Chris Benjamin for Matt Parkinson. And Keith Dudgeon for Tom Rogers as well.
Well remembered. Thank you very much, Sam. Go well tonight. Sam, you've lost the toss. You'll be having a bat. What would you have done?
Yeah, I think we would have batted as well. Obviously, no doubt that's going to be a good surface, but I guess today, runs on the board. Let's see how we go.
And tonight, of course, Jason Roy's 150th T20 Vitality Blast game for Surrey. Just a word on the legend that is Jay Roy.
Yeah, amazing achievement. I think he's the first to do it for Surrey, which is incredible. He's played here for such a long time, been a high-quality player for us for so long. And yeah, hopefully tonight he can go out and show all the fans here high-quality player he is. And yeah, we're all behind him, and hopefully there's another 150 to go. Talking of high-quality players, obviously he was back for the game at Hampshire, but Will Jack's back from the IPL. Always nice to have a player of his calibre slotting in. Yeah, really good. Obviously, Jaxie's such a high-class player for us at the top of the order there. His experience with the bat, ball, and in the field as well. So, yeah, feeling really good. Unfortunately, didn't get over the line in Hampshire the other night, but still early stages, so fingers crossed we get it today. Yeah, early stages, but top of the table on run rate at the moment, so you must be pretty pleased with how things have started. Yeah, I guess it's a shorter format, shorter season this year in terms of 12 games, but we always want to be right on top, and Kent are a great side, so fingers crossed we put on a show and stay at the top. And finally, any changes for you? Yeah, just one change. Sean Abbott's going to have a rest today, and Tom Laws comes in for his first game, which is great. Great stuff. Well, I'm sure everyone joins me in wishing you the best of luck here tonight at the Kia Oval. So there we go, the result. So a thrilling game of cricket to kick things off on our doubleheader here today at the Kia Oval. And someone who knows all about thrilling games of cricket is Jason Roy, who is with me ahead of the men's match at 4:30. Jason, today will be your 150th blast match for Surrey, I believe, which is some record. Tell us about that journey from, I think it was an 18-year-old back in 2008?
Yeah, back in, something like that. And I was on the boundary there fielding. It was my first sort of glimpse into this incredible ground, and been lucky enough to call it my home for this is the 18th year. So very exciting, very privileged, very happy, and yeah, it's all about tonight though.
We'll come on to tonight, but just going through that brilliant history, like you say, over 18 years. Any personal highlights with a Surrey shirt on?
I mean, we've had plenty of highlights, mate. I mean, we've been an incredible outfit for a very long time. However, that trophy just keeps avoiding us. So it's been frustrating at times, but we've had an incredible journey. Our group games and the way we play our cricket is incredible, but we need to take that next step now and get that trophy, because it's been a long time coming.
Obviously playing with some great players in this current team, but over that period, any particular players that you've particularly enjoyed playing with, batting with?
Mate, there's so many. It's crazy. I mean, they've done a hell of a job in getting all the stars over. We've had Sangakkara, Ponting, Kevin Peterson, Hashim Amla, these guys that have come over and just been incredible to be around in the change room. You know, from a young age, for me, being 20, 21 years old and sharing the dressing room with Ricky Ponting or whoever it might be was just mind-blowing looking back on it. And definitely had a huge part to play in my learning of the game.
Let's move on to tonight. You guys have had a pretty good start to the competition. Obviously, a bit of a setback at the Utilita. How do you bounce back from that tonight?
I mean, it's hard. Obviously, we didn't put our best foot forward on Friday night with the bat. I think we could have been a lot better. So tonight it's just a case of righting those wrongs. It's a new day, sun shining. We're on our home ground now, so yeah, we know what we need to do. We keep it very simple. We're quite a chilled out group, so look forward to righting some wrongs tonight.
Well, if there's anyone who knows how to perform in front of the Kia Oval crowd, it's you, Jason. Thanks for entertaining us over the last 149 games. In line for his 150th Surrey T20 performance tonight, ladies and gentlemen, Jason Roy.
Jason Roy then in good form on and off the field at the moment. He started this tournament in fine fettle, and a landmark day for him, 150 blast games now under his belt. He will be kicking off, of course, with the bat for Surrey, and what an opening partnership that is. World class, great pedigree. Roy and Will Jacks returning for his second game after his stint in the IPL. And Yas Rana alongside me, as well as Alistair Brown. Yas, that middle order is to die for Surrey.
Yeah, it's a really exciting middle order for Surrey. Two very exciting batting orders, full stop, really. Look at that Kent side. Kent going well as well. They're 2 wins from 3, as are Surrey at the moment. You've got obviously Crawley at 3, Sam Billings at 4, Joe Denley at 5. I'm really excited by the South African overseas that Kent have today. Dean Forrester. He's made waves in white ball cricket recently, involved with the South Africa A group. At the moment, he's about to play against England Lions, so really excited to see how he does today. Yeah.
And there is Jason Roy. Now, Alistair Brown, we know your feelings on Jason Roy, and you were talking in the first home game a couple of weeks back here at the Kia Oval about how pleased you are to see him back up top of the order rather than at number 3, where he batted for the majority of last year's campaign. He's where you want him to be.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, look, he's I think when you put the Roy and Jacks combination together, it's incredibly explosive. There's no hiding place. It's not like someone who's just trying to nudge at one end and get the striker back on. There's two very powerful players up front. It gives them complete freedom, and I just think with the power play, take advantage of the power play and see what sort of score you can put on. But I think it's his best position, and he showed here how good he was. He looked in fantastic form. I put the mockers on him that I thought he'd get 140, and he got out shortly afterwards. But he looked sublime at that. I thought he just wasn't over-hitting, and he's incredibly powerful. It's his 150th game, and I'm looking forward to a really exciting opening.
So a few changes from Kent's previous game. Out to under Mayeye, who suffered a concussion in the field, so the protocols are such that he misses out this week. No Matt Parkinson or Tom Rogers either. Keith Dudgeon comes in, along with Chris Benjamin in the middle order, and Harry Finch kicking off at the top of the order. Daniel Bell-Drummond, everybody knows about his class and qualities. He'll be looking to utilise the first 6. And Zach Crawley at 3, Yas, who... perhaps we're being a little bit premature in saying he seems like slightly rejuvenated now. He's facing the white ball, having had such a rough trot of it against the red ball earlier in the piece this year for Kent. But that 71 not out that he strummed in Kent's second game is a signal that perhaps he's coming back into slightly better form.
Yeah, Zach Crawley, the white ball cricketer, has always fascinated me. He got his opportunities predominantly with England in the Test arena, and as everyone knows, played 60-odd Test matches, recently dropped. But he hasn't had a huge number of opportunities to further his white ball career outside of this country. He's played the odd overseas league, played a bit in the SA20 not so long ago. But he is someone who I think could develop into a seriously good T20 top order player. He had a really good 100 last year. He's captained England in limited overs cricket before as well. And after a difficult start to the season, I'm really excited to see him have a long run playing white ball cricket.
Where do you stand on where do you stand on the Zach Crawley enigma, Alistair?
Well, I think it's where all, it's the current trend, isn't it? We're all England openers are batting these days at number 3. I think that the last month, or even 6 weeks, has been quite difficult for him. I know what it's like when the press are calling for you that you're going to get dropped. I can understand where his head was at that point. And funnily enough, once the decision comes through, it's almost quite freeing. It's liberating. And I think that actually gives you an opportunity to then go out and express yourself in other forms of the game. And this one is a perfect example of that. And, I remember in 1996, I had a pretty average championship campaign. But in the 40 overs, I felt totally different. And it was so weird how the mindset was that during the 4-day game, I felt so defensive and negative. And that was because I got dropped from England in that summer. But then when I went and played 40 over cricket, I felt like a completely different person. And it's very difficult to explain why that happens. But I think today he's got absolutely nothing to lose. He's part of a very strong lineup for Kent, and he'll be looking to put on a show.
The test calendar is just so packed that players like Crawley, and Pope's in a similar situation as well, they've never really had the opportunity to play full seasons of the Blast. But Crawley's record in white ball cricket for Kent recently is brilliant. He averages 60 over his last 10 T20 games going back to the start of last summer. He had a really good 100 campaign last year too. And if you go back to 2020, he scored an amazing Blast 100 against the Hampshire team that had Shaheen Afridi in it. So he's the kind of player who I really hope, actually, now he has this run, now he's not in that England team, he can properly fulfil his potential as a T20 top order player.
Well, we'll be seeing him later in the piece, batting at 3 for Kent Spitfires. They'll be chasing, having won the toss and elected to field. He has a good record here as well, the Zach Crawley. He likes playing here. He's a natural boundary hitter, of course. And those first 6 overs for both teams are going to be critical, you fancy. There's such explosivity at the top of both orders. I just want to go back briefly to the announcement of the test squad and the inevitability, if you like, of Zach Crawley's name not being in it. It was probably a pretty open secret after what happened in the Ashes. Did you feel a tinge of sympathy for him, Yas?
I think there's so much cricket that takes place in that first block of games. You can sort of forget where players and where conversations were 2 months previously. I think if Crawley had a very good start to the Championship summer, there's every chance he would have been retained. If you go back to the midpoint of the Ashes series, he scores 85 in the second innings of the 3rd test match. At that point, you're not thinking this guy's only got 2 more test matches before he gets the drop. So the story's changed quite quickly with him. I know people will say he had plenty of opportunities and he didn't quite, put up the numbers that you'd want from an opening batter who'd played the number of test matches that he'd had. But yeah, there's still a serious player in there, and it's not that long ago he was England's most consistent player over 10 stretch tests against Australia and India. So there's a serious player in there, aside from the fact that he's had that very difficult start to the Championship season.
To the here and now. Surrey's opening bats. There we go, the fireworks doing its thing as the crowd begins to fill out as well on this lovely afternoon. Not too hot, not too humid either. It's a beautiful day for watching cricket. There's loads of young people in as well. It's a real buzz around the ground as I walked around this afternoon. We had a really good game earlier as well between Surrey women and Somerset women. Somerset just got over the line, actually. It was a nip and tuck kind of game, and we can expect more of the same here. 2 very strong bowling lineups, and as I said at the top of the show, 2 teams that you fancy on paper to go relatively far in this tournament. They've both started well, 2 wins from 3. But as you were saying just before we came on air, Ali, even though you can start well, a couple of reversals and suddenly you're looking over your shoulder in a tight, condensed 6-team South group as we have at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big game for both sides, but Surrey in particular. I mean, there's a number that up at the top. They're all 2-1, and if you go 3-1, it just relieves the pressure, and you just feel each game you go into. A lot of them are 50-50 games, but if they can just go 3-1, it makes the rest of the campaign a lot easier. If you go 2-2, and then suddenly you put yourself under pressure, and anyone can have a day in T20, and you were to go the other side of it, then you're really pushing against the wind. So, I want to see the best Surrey today. I think they've got a fantastic squad. They're a great team, and I'd like to see them really dominate and not be one of the ones that just get over the line with a game or two to spare. I think they've got that firepower, and I think to show their class, they should be at finals day every year, or pretty much thereabouts. And hopefully today we'll set them on the way for that.
It'll be Keith Dudgeon to get us going from the Vauxhall end. Tight offside field, no sweeper on the offside. Just two men behind square on either side of the wicket. And so anything in front of square that beats the ring on either side should run away on this glycerine outfield.
I've got a good Keith Dudgeon story for you, Phil. So Dudgeon's making his T20 debut here today for Kent.
Bit of movement early on. Jason Roy slightly tentative, playing from the crease, staying leg side. But that will be encouraging for the seamer.
So Dudgeon was signed as an overseas at the start of the 2025 season for Kent. Takes a 7th-run debut, but then an injury rules him out of the rest of the summer. But Kent signed him on for 2026. The reason why Kent got him was actually through the recommendation of Joe Root. Joe Root was in the same Pile Royal squad as Dudgeon and knew that Kent were after a seamer. Recommended him to Zach Crawley, and the rest is history. So we've got Joe Root to thank for Keith Dudgeon's presence in the English game.
Roy's away then. Easy single into the onside. Decent start though by Keith Dudgeon.
We've got the pyrotechnics guy to thank for the hold-up at this end, just making them all safe, health and safety. Bit of swing out there as well, first few balls, isn't it?
Yeah, it's been a feature actually of the men's games that we've seen early in this tournament. That these white cricket balls do a bit, just for a couple of overs, but it's quite appreciable, and then it dies down very quickly. So there's a change of field already for Will Jacks. So strong, of course, through the covers, through extra cover. And so there is coverage already. A deep cover point. Slip. Airborne to the man on the 45 on the offside, but just dying in front of him. But that was a full-blooded push. And it kept that fieldsman interested just for a moment. It's a good field, this, you fancy, for the away swinger. To a player such as Will Jacks, who is so free and flowing through the offside. They have Crawley in there at slip, a backward point, a deep gully who was in the game just there, and coverage as well on the boundary rope. That's good again. That's flown and burst through Sam Billings' gloves. Real pace. Excellent start here. Can he get out the over? Just a single so far from it. One delivery to come.
Yeah, really good pace, really good carry. Impressive start from Dudgeon. Clear plan early from Kent. Have a look at the replay. That's hurried Jacks. Hurried Billings too.
Yeah, and he's standing a fair way back as well, Billings. A sign that there's real pace and venom in this track early on. Tries to make room, cuffs it straight up and has to go. It's got big on him. False shot. And Will Jacks goes for a blob. Surrey on the back foot first up.
It's a really good piece of bowling from Dudgeon. Jacks used his feet, looked to give himself a bit of room to access the offside, and Dudgeon follows Jacks, cramps him for room, and in the end can only pop up the simplest of chances for Jake Lintott, and Surrey 1 for 1.
Yeah, just almost accelerated off the wicket the last couple of balls, and I think Will Jacks would probably thought that maybe that was a one-off. I thought both the last couple of balls have really just bounced a bit. That's a surprise Sam Billings the previous ball. He's tried to give himself room and carve it over the offside, but as I said, he's cramped for room, and an excellent bit of bowling.
Yeah, it really is. He's followed him. He's anticipated that Jax would be looking to give himself room to access that offside, and instead the bowler has bluffed the batter there, really. Very uncomfortable. So, first strike to the visitors. Ollie Pope, new man. He's looked, well, electric at times this year already. He looks really hungry to get back into prime form. And as Yas alludes to earlier, he's still trying to develop his identity as a white ball cricketer. No fault of his own. He's played so much red ball cricket for obvious reasons as a mainstay of England's Test team the last few years. But this is really where he wants to expand his repertoire. And that's another Jaffa. Matt Milnes this time. So, Kent starting well here. And Jason Roy, who's faced 5 deliveries so far, just managed to squeeze a single out. And that's the only run that Surrey have found so far. 7 balls in.
It's a seriously impressive T20 bowling attack on paper. Keith Dudgeon, he started brilliantly. Matt Milnes, Fred Clarkson too.
More confident shot off the pads. Tidily timed, but just a single.
Jake Lintott, who's on loan from Warwickshire at the moment. He's out of contract at Warwickshire, and they have left or allowed him to play for Kent for the entirety of the Blast this season. He's a bowler with real T20 and 100 pedigree. So looking forward to seeing him bowl later.
Inside edge, or inside half of the bat, but enough on it for Pope to get his account up and running. Good start this. Crowd are with it as well. There's a hum around the ground. People just settling into this intriguing cricket match. And Billings has been very active already behind the stumps as skipper, ringing the changes, bringing deep third up into the ring and moving Joe Denley out to backward point on the boundary rope. Driven down the ground, that'll be for first boundary of the day. In this one, Jason Roy leaning into the longish half volley, and on his 150th game in this tournament, picking up a very welcome off-driven for.
Perfect off drive really from Jason Roy, and I think the wicket's done a little bit to start with. I think they've just got to give themselves the first probably 3 overs. I think Kent have bowled very well. Last year they bowled with too much width. Certainly at Canterbury they were terrible. I thought they gave far too much width. They've been very straight today to this point.
Yeah, good illustration, that previous boundary 4, Ali, of what you're talking about when Roy is in good nick. He doesn't force the issue. But there's touch as well as power there.
Well, I think the thing about Jason Roy is if he goes at 80%, that's enough. And sometimes he tries to hit at 120, and that's when he can lose his shape. He can also hit it out the ground, but he doesn't need to do that. And that off drive was a perfect start on what has been an interesting, a tough start for Surrey.
Apart from that driven 4, probably the only full ball across the first 2 overs here. 7 for 1, 2 gone. Clearly a policy for the seamers early on to be trying to bowl that heavy ball back of a length, making it difficult for batters to get on top of the bounce. Ollie Pope, do with a score. Started sprightly in this tournament, made a very tidy 31 in the first game here at the Keir Oval against Lancashire in an ultimately pretty comfortable win for Surrey to get things up and running, but he's just gone quiet last couple of games, 9 and 8. Simmered in championship cricket, played some eye-catching innings here and there. He'll pick up a boundary 4, square of the wicket, well timed. Played on length. A welcome boundary.
The old swivel pull. I think, to be fair to Kent, they haven't really bowled a bad ball. I think Ollie's played that very nicely. He's, I think, probably understood that they're trying to bowl very, very straight at the stumps, give no width, which is exactly the right way to go. But yeah, there are chances through the leg side, but good start from Kent, but that's it. A great shot from Ollie Pope.
Dudgeon back into his work. That's the model delivery for what Kent are looking for here for their opening bowlers.
They're always a fun side to watch in the field. Skippered by Sam Billings, one of the most experienced skippers on the T20 circuit. Always a bundle of energy. 34 years old now, but he's always racing between the overs, racing between fielders, always in conversation about one thing or another.
And again, beautifully timed. One bounce four, it was flat, crunched as well. Good start here for Pope.
Almost looking for that length delivery, isn't he? I think he's setting himself for length. He's seen what the first few overs have delivered, and it has been that sort of back of a length ball, and he's played those two very nicely. That one probably the best timed of the lot.
Yeah, the first one he almost helped round the corner, use the pace of the ball. This one he hit hard, proper thud as that ball hit the advertising boardings.
That fieldsman is now much squarer.
If you look at the field as well, I mean, they're signalling where they're going to bowl. If you look at the offside, and I think that's why Will Jacks was trying to find some room. I know the field has changed a bit, but anything through the offside is going to be four. So, yeah, I think Ollie has decided that that's where they're going to bowl. He's looking for that length, proactively trying to pick it up, and he's done that really well. But anything through the offside is going to run away quite easily, even if you time it sort of three quarters as well as you could do.
Full one this time. Caught Ollie Pope perhaps slightly on the crease, anticipating the shorter one. And again, just a hint of movement. So still a bit of action on this ball for Dudgeon into his second. 11 deliveries he's already got through. Just those two boundaries and a single from the first over. And Will Jacks' wicket. Can he get out of this over? Key delivery here. And he can. Excellent stuff. Kent going well here. 15 for 1. Surrey after 3.
So it's family day here at the Kia Oval, and part of the fun today is we've got lots of photos from Surrey players from their youth, and your job today is to guess who the players are from their old photographs. So get in touch, surreybroadcast@gmail.com. There's your first of the day. You've got, I think, an over or so to correctly guess.
Are we allowed to guess ourselves?
I don't think we can give it away now, otherwise I think that totally defeats.
I mean, I don't know the answer.
Neither do I.
Right, I see. Can we guess amongst ourselves?
Yeah, I suppose so.
I'm going to write something down on a piece of paper. To me, the age of that bat gives it away.
What's your guess, Phil? Because I can tell you I got it wrong.
I don't want to ruin it for the punters. It's going to be Clarkson then. First change. Matt Mills, just that first good over. Clarkson in. Goes up for it, but umpire unmoved. Already on the move. Looked like it was just angling down past leg stump. Michael Powell not fussed in the slightest.
So apart from line and length, had everything going for it.
Yeah, you can see on the angle. Bit of dip as well. Definite movement though out there in the air. It's good angle as well. Left arm round. Asking questions of the right-handers here. And Roy takes a chance and gets plenty of it. Audacious batsmanship, and that runs away for his second four. 4 boundaries now. Just a bit of momentum into this innings, 19 for 1.
Yeah, it's a brilliant shot from Roy. It's not one you'd necessarily associate with him in the power play. It's a full ball well outside off stump that he's swept off a seam bowler, left arm seam around the wicket. Past short fine leg for 4.
What's Clarkson got now? Follows him and Roy paddles it round the corner in complete control.
Phil, producer George says that we are actively encouraged to guess ourselves.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know what the answer is. Do you want to go first?
I think it's Laurie Evans.
I was going to go Jason Roy.
Okay. So I'm thinking, because that bat looks to be more of a late 90s vintage, which would age the player a little. That's what I'm going for. But I guess Roy is north of 30, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think there's a good 3 year difference between Roy and Evans.
Yeah, well, Laurie Evans is my guess. Do you say, Ali, that you already had a guess and been proved wrong?
No, I saw these last night. I do
okay.
know the answer, and I also, this was the one surprised me the most. if I'm honest.
Okay. Pope, busy as ever. Just a single this time.
And I say that because I look at him when I was coach here, and I look at him now, and I think, yeah, he's filled out. So
he's filled out. One delivery to go. We shall reveal the answer, I think, at the end of the over. If you think you know, get your emails in sharpish. We'll give it another few minutes before revealing it. Oh, what a shot. Jason Roy into space. 2-3 bounces. Vintage stuff. He loves that area. Straight mid-wicket. Out towards the SSE stand. How many has he clumped through straight mid-wicket over the years? 150 games in the blast. For Surrey, of course. He remains, well, a world-class player on his day, and definite momentum now into this innings. A useful over. 10 from it for Surrey. 25 for 1 after 4.
I think that shot's a really good illustration of the point that you were making earlier, Ali. He's got so much natural power. He's never been someone who's ever needed to overhit the ball, and you saw it with that shot there. Crisply timed, hit with so much venom. Races away to the boundary, and after a slightly slow start, Surrey getting into their innings now, 25 for 1.
I just don't think that bowling short of Jason Roy is a great option. He's hit some of the quickest bowlers in the world out of the ground.
Matt Milnes, leg side, nothing on it, wide.
I also think it's an indication of this wicket. I think that just held in the wicket a little bit, and I think we've seen when they've hit the right length, like, you know, not too full but length, it's been quite difficult. But when you go short, that gives the player a lot more time. But a player who plays as well the short ball as well as Jason Roy, I don't think that's a great option going forward. But Kent have started nicely, but they won't want to drop too short.
Full this time, straight to mid-on, gone. Ollie Pope throws his head back in anguish. He has to go. Just didn't get enough elevation. It was full and straight and asking to be pumped down the ground. But in the end, all he can do is pick out Forrester at mid-on. And so, just as we were saying, there was some energy in this innings. Pope has to go.
Yeah, I mean, I think as soon as he hit it, he knew it was 50-50. He knew he'd hit it a bit flat. He struck it well, but he's picked out a tall fielder at mid-on.
In fact, it's Klaasen, correction. It's Klaasen under the ball at mid-on.
Personally, that would have sailed over my head, but you know, he's a bit unlucky. He's timed it well. He will be looking for sort of length. He's then seen it's something to really come forward to, and that's probably why it lacks the elevation that he was looking for.
Sam Curran's been in good form in this tournament this year. I think he's now ensconced at number 4, Yas. It seems like this is now his position in this team. The skipper, of course. The central force of this cricket team now. A cricketer in his prime. Very important, unbeaten 71 in Surrey's second game against Middlesex to ensure that Surrey made it 2-2. He's got a job to do here.
Yeah, he does have a job to do here. Started the season really well, scores in all 3 games, including that 71 not out that you mentioned. Surrey were 56 for 4 in that run chase against Middlesex. Curran and Evans got the job done there.
2 slips, Sam Billings. Fancies this. Matt Mills to angle it across the left-hander. Right in that slot. You can hear it, can't you, Yas, out there? There's a real buzz.
There should be a buzz. I mean, this is a wicket that does favour the bowler a little bit. I think there's plenty in it for the bowler to this point. You often think the first 5 or 6 overs with a new white ball can create something. And I think of the wickets we saw last time, Surrey were here, 200 was about a par score. I think 160, I think, might get it done today.
Just the one fielder in front of square on the onside, but picks him out. So you don't often see this in the first 6 overs. A 7-2 offside field. Now it's 6-3. But for those first 2 deliveries, a 7-2 offside field. That second slip, Joe Denley's now come out into a conventional mid-wicket just to block that short arm punch shot that Sam Curran likes so much. Cuffed away, but straight to the fielder. This is good from the visitors. Really impressive stuff.
Question for you, Ali. How much of limited overs batting, particularly when you're at the top or near the top of the order, is about realising almost what a par score is and then adapting your approach? Because if you're saying 160 is a good score, your intent's going to be different if you think 200 is a good score.
Absolutely. You're trying to. I always thought, as an opener, you're a minesweeper. So you're going out there. Yes, you can do all sorts, and you're trying to find out what that is. And sometimes you're just surviving.
That does beat the fieldsman.
Well timed by Sam Curran there. But other times you realise it's doing something, and then you're thinking, right, how can we get to what we think that score is? And I'm sure that's what Jason Roy is thinking at the moment. I think they're also thinking, can we make sure we keep one batter, there that we can sort of play around? That doesn't mean just not nudge the singles. It means not play to quite as aggressive as you could be, knowing that you can score later on in the innings as the ball just dies a little bit. So it won't. It's swung and bounced, which is why we've still got slips and gullies in.
More runs, just a single. He's running hard, but they'll settle for one. Curran will retain the strike. So 31 gone. 31 for 2. 5 overs already done and dusted. So 1 huge over of this power play left. Now, let's throw this question back to you. We do have someone who's emailed in with the correct answer. Well done to James in Coventry, who was the first to get to us with the correct answer. Who is this Surrey star as a child? And it's Jason Roy.
Get in.
Yas won, me nil. And as Ali Brown says, there's only an ex-pro can. He's filled out a bit since then. So there it is. The smouldering look on the face does give it away. Now I'm studying it a bit more. So, Sam Billings bringing back his main spearhead, Keith Dudgeon. He's already bowled 2 very good overs from the Vauxhall end, and now on at the Pavilion end. At similar field again, 6-3 offside field to Sam Curran. Gone high and long. What a shot that is.
Oh,
That is in the 3rd tier. Effortless.
That wasn't a cuff, was it?
Alistair Brown, talk me through that.
Well, I mean, he's set a great base, and yeah, I mean that was looking good. That is the shortest part of the ground, but he's hit it a long, long way. It sailed over the home dressing room, and yeah, really put the pressure back on Kent. Great shot.
Dudgeon under pressure. And I think the bowler will take that.
just shifts the momentum a little bit. I think going into this over, almost unusually for the 6 over T20 innings, you felt that Kent were really on the attack. They started with a slip in to Sam Curran, and quite often the 6th over is statistically the most expensive in a game as sides look to make the most of the last over of that first power play. But that boundary does change the momentum a little bit. More conventional field now for Roy, no slips. 5 fielders in the ring on the offside.
We've got up for it. Billings is absolutely convinced. Umpire unmoved. Kent are aghast. In unison, all round this appeal, the fieldsman and the keeper, no doubt whatsoever.
To be fair, I'm a bit disappointed they didn't go for the bye. That would have been an interesting run, but yeah, Sam Billings fairly confident he heard something there, but
so Jason Roy just looks at his forearm to suggest that there was contact with something. And another look, just to emphasise. We move on. Quick single, well judged.
I'm going to put it out there. I think that's a really good decision. That could be a really, really good decision. And I had a decision at Lancashire once when I was given out caught off my helmet, and it just Peter Martin bowled a short ball. He clipped my helmet, went through to the keeper and Warren Hegg. They all appealed, and I was given out. And I was like, oh, that hit me on the head. And the umpire did actually go, do you know what? You're right. And I think that could be that thing. The reaction from Jason was very much arm straight away, and I don't think he's quick enough to think, I'll tell you what, I've hit it, I better look at the arm. It could be a very, very good decision.
Did the umpire change his decision then?
He did. He did change his decision. And I wasn't trying to be petulant to say, and going, that's an awful decision. I just pointed at my head. And I think in that reaction, he realised that actually the noise was the helmet. Yes, there was a noise, but my hands were dropped. And it was one of the very rare occasions. And I think it might have been Barry Ledbetter. And then suddenly he said, no, I've made a mistake. Yeah, fair play.
Something to add on that is that it was above head height, and so the umpire presumably must have thought that he'd made connection with something, because otherwise it would have been given a wide.
Well, Jason was suggesting it was the arm, so that's equally a good decision if he's made that. It's very easy under pressure to suddenly go with the call and the throw of the ball as if that's out, but I quite like that.
Power play done then, 40 for 2. Kent edging things at this stage. Fascinating opening to this game. Sam Billings has been electric in the field with his constant tinkering, moving fieldsman every delivery. 7-2 offside fields, 2 slips and a gully, ringing the changes, and here's another one. Jake Lintop, a unique cricketer, yes.
Yeah, it's a fascinating story. It took a while to get into the professional game. Had a brief period at Hampshire, but finally got his chance about 6 years ago with Warwickshire, and he's developed into one of the leading white ball spinners in the country. Had a lot of success with Southern Brave in the early years of the 100.
So 5-4 leg side field. Nobody, well, we're changing batters, so we'll come back to the field for Sam Curran in a moment. It's an interesting setup against the left-hander. Let's see what Billings has in store for Jason Roy. A more conventional field this. The left arm wrist spinner coming into the pads at times. The other one as well he'll have in his locker. That one's short, and Roy will be cranky to have picked out mid-on. Nobody at long on, just 2 men out on the onside and 3 on the offside. So there is an area beyond mid-on which you would think would be in the slog slot. So Lintop's got to get his length right. Started well here.
I was just going to say, I'm surprised that mid-on is up for Jason Roy, especially with the direction the ball, Lintop's stock ball is going to turn. It's going to turn into the right-hander Jason Roy. Very, very close fielder. Silly mid-on for Curran.
Brilliantly bowled. I think Curran may have got a little bit on that. Certainly Surrey will pick up a couple. Leg buys, umpire says.
I think that might have been the wrong one from Lintop, turning into Curran on this occasion. Yeah.
I think he's going to bowl a few of those, and I think that's why the field is as it is. But when you do turn the ball away from the batsman, when you slog sweep, if they middle it, it'll go further.
Billings is right on this now. Long off, back in place. Not got much of it. Does it carry? Yes, it does. Got to go. Sam Curran. He will fancy it was there to hit. Didn't get enough of it. And a good sprawling catch.
Yeah, it's a couple of times this over that Lintott has fired the ball into the pitch. That one was quite short, so you can see why Curran tried to play that shot aerially, but he ends up clothing it, doesn't get hold of it at all really, and in the end it's a really good catch in the deep by Harry Finch. Had a lot of ground to cover. He does superbly to get his fingers underneath the ball, and Surrey lose their third.
It was a bit of a drag down, Ali Brown.
It was a drag down, yeah, but I think an excellent catch. You felt, was he getting there? And in the end, he's thrown himself at the ball and made it a fantastic catch. So good wicket for Kent, and a big player out.
He's manoeuvred his body very well there, Harry Finch, to get the hips out the line, leave enough space to slide into the ball and keep his balance, so the ball doesn't skate along the turf while in the hand. Gets those hands up quick as well, so no doubt about it. Sam Curran accepted the decision and traipsed off. So Daniel Lawrence in at 5. Surrey just have to be mindful here. Excellent first over.
Yeah, and Kent right on the attack there. Slip in place for Lawrence. First up. Could be such a good signing, Jake Lintott. From his 4 games so far this season, he's going at under 7 runs per over. Currently keeping Matt Parkinson out the side. Parkinson, he bowled the final over of the game here last year, Ali. And Chris Jordan won the game for Surrey with a very, very final ball.
I do think he's an improvement on Parkinson, to be honest. That final over, I felt he bowled too many balls the same. And that last ball that Chris Jordan hit for 4, you were just hoping he bowled a bit more variation. I think we've seen that from Lintott here, and I think he is an improvement on Parkinson in that part of the game.
More wrist spin. Joe Denley, the evergreen, loves his cricket. Was the first man out this afternoon in the nets for the Spitfires. Just grooving that glorious offside technique that he has. We'll be seeing that later on today. Squares Lawrence up a touch, but gets enough of it. Slightly leading edge into the offside, but Lawrence won't mind that at all.
Joe Denley will have to keep it very leg side there, I think, because you've got that 45-yard boundary there, and any bowler who turns the ball away from the bat, if the batsman can find 1 or 2 balls where he comes down there, he's likely to get maximum value. So could easily pick up a couple of 6s in that area if he gives any width.
Oh, he's put him down. It was hit hard. Would have been a good catch. But it was there, and he will feel like he should have pouched that. Keith Dudgeon there. Had extra cover. It was hit hard and flat. Got a lot of it, did Jason Roy. What a moment this could be, really. You feel like 4 down at that point on the sweep. Tense times out there. Something happening every delivery. Sam Billings, skipper and keeper, has created this kind of, well, this chaos out there at the moment. It's thrilling to watch. I feel like this innings is on a knife edge.
Been very good in his Sam Billings.
Yeah.
I think he never stops. So
have another look at this, Ali.
I think he's actually surprised by the power. I think it's almost as if he doesn't think it's going to carry, but he's hit it that hard that it has carried. And then
disappointed, will he?
He will be, because he probably didn't. He probably thought he'd be picking that up on the half volley, but then he's timed it better than he thought and put it down, and that's a big miss.
Kent racing through the overs. 8 overs done in the first 33 minutes of the game.
Got to go this time. What a moment. Jason Roy has to depart. Jake Lintott. It's his afternoon so far. 7 deliveries into his spell, and he's picked up 2 huge wickets already. Surrey in a pickle, 4 down for 47.
What a start from Jake Lintott. 7 balls into his spell. 2 wickets for just 3 runs, and it's that field position that we were talking about in the previous over that does the trick. With Lintott spinning the ball into the right-hander, you might think that Kent would want boundary protection at long on, but no. Mid-on, up in the ring, tempting the right-hander to go up over the top, and Roy doesn't quite get hold of it, and that's a massive wicket. Surrey now 47 for 4 in the 9th over.
Very similar to Ollie Pope. Didn't quite get the elevation, and to me it's almost a late decision to go over mid-on. He wants to be positive. He's tried to hit that squarer. He's trying to sort of pull that over mid-wicket, and because it's just on the line of it, he's hit that straight, and he's hit it low enough that he's picked out the man. He's timed it well, but Surrey at 47 for 4, not in the hot seat.
Laurie Evans, new man, vastly experienced. Best part of 7,500 runs in his T20 career.
Well, spins work wonders for Kent since the end of the first power play. Surrey were just rebuilding after the wicket of Ollie Pope. They were 40 for 2 after 6. And now 8.3 overs gone, 47 for 4, just 7 runs added in the 2.5 overs since the end of the first power play.
Beats him on the outside edge with the wrong one. This is an inspired spell.
Surrey need to be very careful here, because they could easily chew 2 or 3 overs of spin. It's a great time for spin to come on after a wicket. Surrey will need to stay positive and put the pressure back on Kent rather than rebuild here.
This is brilliant from Linton, and Kent really applying the squeeze. Looking at that replay, serious turn from Linton. Ball spinning away from Laurie Evans.
And then the fieldsman at mid-on goes back for the final delivery, just to give Lintott some degree of protection here. Billings doing it brilliantly in the field. Bump ball, dot ball, all Kent. 47 for 4. 8 down, 9 down in fact, 9 overs down now. And Surrey really are hanging in there. Fascinating game and a masterclass in T20 strategy from Sam Billings, who of course has seen it 1,000 times and more. But that combination of experience and enthusiasm and feel for a cricket match is really to the fore here.
You do feel this is the over. You cannot let Denley bowl the next couple of overs. You've got to come back at him. I think he is the player that Surrey have to get some momentum from. They need to find a sort of a 10-15 over. They can't chew balls, because they get to 12 or 13 overs and you've still got spinners on and you're rebuilding, and even if you lost another wicket, I don't think there's a lot of coming back from that.
Rarely seen wicket maiden that previous over from Jake Lintott. Amazing figures. 2 overs, 1 maiden, 2 for 3 so far. Billings really is an absorbing figure to watch in the field, tinkering almost every ball.
You feel that his players are responding to him, though. They're all very busy. Yes, they got off to a very good start. I don't think they've really bowled a bad ball. I mean, from seam or spin, there's been no gifts out there. They've mixed it up. They've changed the field all the time.
Knowing Adam Hollyoake as you do, obviously Kent's head coach, Ali, do you feel like Hollyoake and Billings would work well as a pair?
No, I think they're a very good pair. I think Sam's an excellent player, and I think he's a very good captain, and Adam is the best captain we had, not just in my era, but voted captain of the century, and I completely understand why. It's got his sort of stamp on it. I love the fact that the field is constantly changing, and every time Surrey pick up a single, Kent will be delighted.
Couple of picking up into the offside here. Yep, come back comfortably enough, Laurie Evans. I just want to come back to that. So was that a mark of Hollyoake? Wasn't that just his legendary man management and his charisma and his ability to engineer cricket results from anywhere, but in white ball cricket, constantly tinkering, constantly alive to the possibilities? Would that be a mark of how he went about it?
Yeah, but I think as a player, he was an incredibly positive player. But as a bowler in particular, he mixed his pace. There's a lot of mixing going on out there. There's no, no room to sort of craft anything. And I think that's what he, he always did very well. I felt that when Surrey played Kent last year down at Canterbury, I felt they weren't a particularly good outfit. I thought they bowled far too much width, I think, and they gifted Surrey that win, really. They either bowled too short or too wide. They came here and they played a far better game that got through to the last ball, and Kent were a bit unlucky not to win it, really. As I said, Parkinson just threw that ball up that got put away for 4, but they were far superior in that second game, and here they've vastly bettered what they did last year.
Just a word on Hollyoake, Yas. Kent had a really tough time of it last year. There is the boy himself.
He looks like he's enjoying life.
Does he ever?
Yeah.
But he's roused them very well in recent weeks, hasn't he? And a couple of stirring wins in the Championship, and they've started this tournament well as well. It's good to see.
Yeah, they went okay in the Blast last year. They qualified for the quarterfinals, lost by 3 wickets against Lancs. But they had a really tough year in the Championship. They basically went a full year without winning, but they've won 2 in quick succession recently, and are very much in the promotion race in Division 2, and they've started well in the Blast this summer. They've recruited well, getting Keith Dudgeon in again, Matt Milnes back from Yorkshire. Full toss from Lintott. Chance in the deep, and Lintott has his 3rd. It's a full bunger, but Evans doesn't get hold of it at all. He departs 4 off 11, and Surrey 53 for 5.
Well, a ball that you felt should have disappeared. Probably it's sometimes the looser ball, and there've been so many good balls bowled, is the one that catches the batsman unawares. And I think the problem there, he probably wasn't looking to hit the big boundary, and then thought, oh, actually, I've got a. They are repairing a little bit, and then suddenly there's the loose ball that when you're looking to be positive and proactive, goes out the ground, is at the bottom of the bat, and loops again to another one of the Kent fielders.
Looked to me as like he was trying to go a bit straighter, mindful of where the fielder was, and then just gets the inside half of the bat, and so it skews to mid-wicket rather than cow straightish mid-wicket into the space. But Lintott's deserved it because of the stuff that's happening around these wickets. So you can look in isolation at the Curran wicket and the Evans wicket and say perhaps they were there to hit false shots, but he's tied them up, suffocated this Surrey middle order, that you deserve what you get. 3 for 3.
Yeah, Tom Curran, the new man in, with a job to do. Surrey 53 for 5. Kent once more in the attack. Slip in place, Lintott to Curran, and he's off the mark straight away. Yeah, fascinating battle that between Lintott and Laurie Evans. Lintott bowled 7 deliveries to Evans. Evans 0 for 1. And we saw him beat his outside edge a couple of times in the previous over with a couple of wrong-uns.
Are the Warwickshire HR department just sort of rusting up some sort of contract at the moment as this goes live?
No, it's an amazing piece of business to be able to secure a bowl of Lintott's class on loan, presumably at reasonably late notice, aware of his situation at Warwickshire. Someone who, sure, he's never really been in the conversation for England, but one of only a handful of wrist spinners, English wrist spinners, who've gone well in the 100.
He's also bowling at a very good time, I think, when he comes on sort of a couple of wickets down, but he's created his own mayhem. He hasn't really bowled a bad ball, and when he has bowled one that isn't quite as good as the others, it's been spanked up in the air. So for another wicket, he's bowled very well. He's mixed it up, turns it both ways, and he's been very good.
Another over ticks by, and it's another very good over for the visitors. Just 4 runs from it, and the wicket of Laurie Evans. Surrey 57 for 5, but 17 for 3 in the 5 overs since the power play. Going nowhere really against the Kent spinners. And I think actually Denley's previous over was a quite significant one. Ali, you were saying that Denley on paper maybe going into this game might be someone that Surrey look to attack, and his second over goes for just 6.
Much as
got for 8.
Much as he's bowled very well, Joe Denley, I just think they have the 2 overs for 8. You've got to find a bowler who you're going to target, and this has to be the one. Dan Lawrence, an excellent player of spin. He's got to be taking him on.
What do you think the game plan is here, Phil? Ali said 160 would be a good score earlier in the piece. 160 a very long way away now.
Yeah, I was just thinking, feels so old-fashioned to say, but they have to bat their overs. They have to see where they get to with 3 overs to go. I don't think they can afford, with a slightly longer tail than normal, no Sean Abbott in the side, I can't help thinking that they need to play slightly more conservative cricket for the next 3 or 4 overs and get to the last 24 deliveries, and then see if they can take 2 and over from there, or 2 a ball from there on.
I think it's the constant flow of wickets that creates the pressure for Surrey. They have to rebuild again. They want a 1 over where they can change the momentum, and I think, to be fair, Kent as a unit have bowled brilliantly today.
Also, the momentum of an innings is such that you feel like if Surrey do try and break out of the shackles here, then suddenly the ball's going to go to hand. Sometimes you just feel that's the sway of an innings. All the half chances have gone the way of Kent. Just the one missed opportunity in the covers, but then Jason Roy went soon after, so no damage done. Feels like everything's running for Kent here. Every decision that Sam Billings makes seems to be paying off.
I'd also like Surrey to slow it down a bit. I think it's all happening very quickly. Everything is in Kent's favour at the moment, and
driven airily, but just past short cover, and a well needed and appreciated boundary for Surrey. Tom Curran's first.
And when I say that, what I mean by that is, at times, don't just let the bowler keep bowling. You know, just almost take a time, just walk away, whatever it is. But try and change the whole timing of the innings. And at the moment, Kent are absolutely buzzing. They're in a fantastic place. They're comfortably ahead at the moment. But I'd just like them to just try and get them to slow it down. And at the moment, you just fancy that Sam Billings has got all the aces.
A reminder that the Test match summer is just around the corner, and England play New Zealand here at the Kia Oval from Wednesday, June the 17th to Sunday, June the 21st. Tickets still available, very limited number of tickets available, but if you want to get involved, head to the Kia Oval website, tickets.surreycricket.com. Lintert to continue into his 4th now, 3.1 overs, 3 for 7. Swept hard, but straight to the man at deep mid wicket.
The thing for me is, there are no draws in this game, and it doesn't really matter if Surrey lose by a fair distance. You have to take risk, and I think to see these figures, 3.2 overs, 3 for 8. It's not a complete minefield. It's a good bowling wicket, and that's out the ground.
Yeah, it's a brilliant shot from Curran to the shorter side. Slightly full from Lintert, and that's the most convincing shot that we've seen from a Surrey player in a while.
That's the first one that he's really thrown up there. Oh, quite flat for the majority. That was right in the slot. Got to have conviction though, with 5 down halfway through an innings, to give it the full whack, and that's gone 30 yards back.
Full again and driven firmly past short cover, and it's another boundary for Tom Curran, who's picked up 3 boundaries of his last 3 balls. He's raced away to 17 off 7. He was in fine form when we were last here together against Lancashire 9 days ago. He's picking up where he left off.
But this is the counter-attacking innings that we need. I think proactively playing, looking for the boundaries. You've got to set yourself for what you think he's going to bowl. You've seen quite a lot of it so far. But whether it is the slog sweep and getting that over there, but it's really good to see Tom Curran striking it just over 200, and that's what Surrey need.
Single to Curran, and that will be the end of Jake Lintott's spell. Brilliant spell of bowling. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 19.
Acknowledged as well by the crowd. We've seen something very classy indeed by one of the most talented and unusual cricketers in white ball cricket in this country. Aren't too many who do what he does to that level. A couple of wrong-uns as well against the right hand, a real standouts. Brilliant stuff by Lintott.
And Dan Lawrence is quite subdued by his normal nature, isn't he? 9 off 12. It's you don't often see that.
Yeah, came in at 5, and I guess 2 quick ones went.
Denley to bowl out at the other end. Very tidy spell as well, quietly. 3.1 overs, none for 15 so far.
Every ball the field changes, isn't it?
Chipped into the leg side. Immediate call of 2 from Tom Curran, and they get home comfortably. Clear plan from Joe Denley and Kent at the moment. He's bowling with a massive leg side boundary. 3 fielders protecting that boundary. There's no one in front of square in the ring. He's basically just bowling on leg stump.
But that's also great running. You're always going to get 2 if you can get to the mid-wicket disc. If you can get the ball just rolling in front of there, you'll pick 2. So it's not always when the boundaries are a bit bigger on the leg side. It's not always just hitting the 4s and 6s.
Curran wants 2 again. Hit a little bit too well this time, but misfield long on allows them to come back 4-2.
But Surrey need to be putting the pressure on the field as well. I know that's a misfield, and that's probably the first mistake that Kent have made, but they've got to be pushing hard to try and get those misfields. That was a gift from Kent, but they've got to push harder. They're well behind at the moment. They need at least 140.
Yeah, it was poor cricket though by Zach Crawley, because they had given up any option of a second run. They'd settled on their bats, and Crawley could have been mindful of that.
Curran looks to go down the ground and spilt at long off by Jake Linton, who's been so impressive with the ball. That is a real chance for Kent to remove the danger man, Tom Curran, who started so well.
Yeah, once he's got there, you fancy he should be taking that. That's 2 down now that they've dropped. First one wasn't costly at all. Will this one sting?
Fortunately, he's timed that too well through the leg side. You just need to get it dying before the disc. But yeah, they could rue those drop catches. But to be fair, Kent, very, very far ahead at the moment.
Let's take a look at that chance again. Yeah, Linton does get there, gets 2 hands to it. Could be a very, very big moment.
The camera worked better than the fielding, but yeah, should really have taken that.
Right, it's family day here at the Kia Oval, and we've got some old pictures when we want you to guess who this Surrey star is as a child. Send in your answers to surreybroadcast@gmail.com and we will reveal the answer in a couple of those. I'm going to put it out there early. Slightly easier one than the first one.
It's remarkable. There's been no change at all.
Fred Clarkson on from the Vauxhall end. Seen on for the first time since the power play. 8 overs unchanged from Lintott and Denley. Billings has been tinkering all the time in the field, but the plan was pretty simple for the last 8 overs. Wrist spin from both ends. What a job that they've done. 42 for for 3 in those 8 overs. Denley finishing with figures of 4 overs, none for 21. On paper, the 5th bowler for Kent today.
I mean, Surrey need to be going at 10 and over from here on in, and that'll get them around about the 140, and as I said, that'll give them half a chance.
Tickle around the corner for 4. Short and crucially leg side from Clarkson, so any bat at all really from Tom Curran, and that was going to run away to the boundary.
Yeah, it's a rotten delivery for his field with the man up and on the 45. And a short boundary down that way towards the players' dressing rooms. It's a bit of rubbish by Clarkson. He's got to be careful here because both men are up on either side on the 45s, and so anything too wide on either side and you're asking for trouble. Better.
Yeah, Surrey 31 runs without losing a wicket in the last 3.3 overs. So that 10 run and over mark that Ali was talking about, that's actually what they're pretty much doing as a partnership already. Interesting, Phil, to compare and contrast the roles that Curran and Lawrence are playing at the moment.
Yeah, indeed. I think Lawrence is looking to be there really for the final 3 overs and see if he can really expand from there on. He has been becalmed. They have
Or ricochet.
I think for such a proactive cricketer that he's looking to hit singles all the time. He's almost gone in his shell a bit, hasn't he? Try and make sure he gets at least a run a ball and then look to explode in these last 5 overs. But I think they both need to go together. There are still some very good batters left to come, and Tom Curran certainly showing the way.
Pace off from Clarkson. They scramble through for a single. What they've done well as a pair is there have been very few dot balls since Tom Curran's come out to the middle. When you're able to take at least a single off 4 or 5 deliveries in the over, pick up a boundary off the other, you end up with overs of 9 or 10 without taking too many risks.
He's also proactively got outside the line, given himself room. He's looking to be positive and get these 4s and 6s, which he's doing really well. And he's just changing the momentum, giving Surrey half a chance, as I said.
so. Yes, with 5 to go. 2 a ball from here on in gets to 151. Feel like that's below par, but defendable.
Yeah, absolutely, and it might seem like a long way away, but we saw Tom Curran do something similar in the Lancashire game. Surrey didn't look like they were going to get more than 180, really, even 4 or 5 overs away from the end of their first innings. And in the end, they get 213, thanks largely to Tom Curran, 49 off 20 on that occasion. And he started briskly here, but you feel he's still got another gear or two he can get up to. Lawrence certainly does.
And we know what Dan Lawrence can do. He scored a fantastic, was it 100 last year, I think, just walking across the board. Played some fantastic shots. But these are 5 overs that he needs to find them.
Matt Milne's back into the attack.
Yeah, it's just not happening for him at the moment.
Is that down as a cloth or a cuff for you there, Phil?
That's a clink for me.
But for every single that Surrey score, Kent will be delighted if they can get away with 6 and over. Over 120, 130, they would take that in a heartbeat.
Kent have been very disciplined with the ball more generally, but specifically, I'd say from the pavilion end with that massive leg side boundary for the right-handers. Surrey's top 7, top 9 actually, very right-hand heavy. So other than when Sam Curran's out there are always 2 right-handers. They've struggled to access that longer side. Early call of 2.
That'd be run out if he goes
Curran.
for 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the problem though. I just feel that a lot of these balls are going. They're looking like they're going to go for 1. Yes, they're sort of going for like 1 1/4, 1 1/2, and you're not going to get 2. But yeah, it's the most subdued I've seen Dan Lawrence for quite some time.
pulled into leg side, but Curran doesn't really time it. Falls short of deep mid wicket. It's another single. Pace off from Milnes.
Every bowler has had a clear plan. Absolute coherence and synergy as well with the skipper. Seems like Billings is calling the shots here and the bowlers are well drilled. It's been a really good performance, this.
Again, there's an early call for 2. And again, it's just 1.
Yeah, good work by Crawley actually there at long on.
Just
Brought both stumps into play for that potential run out. Brilliant stuff.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the lines that Milnes is bowling. Obviously, very different bowler to Joe Denley, but it's a pretty similar plan, offering no offside width at all. Reminder that the offside boundary much shorter than the leg side one from this end. Timed nicely from Tom Curran, but it's only a single. It's a good return to the attack from Matt Milnes. 6 runs off the over, Surrey 97 for 5. So, we showed you this photo a couple of overs ago. Well done to Jack and Seb, the first 2 to email in. Seb even saying that it was too easy. The answer, of course, is Sam Curran. James comes back to us with, I think it looks like one of the Curran boys. I'll take a punt on Sam Curran. Of course it's Sam Curran, as Phil said. It's remarkable how little has changed.
It's incredible.
The facial
when you're
expression,
good, you're good, right? When you're a natural.
But even the facial expression there, that is exactly the look he has now.
I mean, he was playing in the first team a couple of years after that. So
You didn't even need the body shape, I think, for that one. I think the face would have just, given it away.
yeah.
Klaasen to continue from the Vauxhall end. In the air and gone. Klaasen strikes. And Tom Curran departs for a well-made 32. What a time for Kent to strike. This partnership was just threatening to bubble up for Surrey.
Yeah, big moment. And again, good idea, well executed. Cramping for room, bang it into the pitch. And just like we saw with Will Jacks, neither one thing nor the other, really. Really good stuff. And every chance, every airborne shot is going to hand at the moment. Sorry?
They've had all the answers, haven't they, Kent? I mean, basically, as Tom's given himself room, he's followed him, and he's still trying to create over to the leg side, but of course he's got to go and try and fetch it there, and that's been his undoing. But a very good 32. It's certainly created more momentum in the in the score than any other batter has produced, and they're going to need probably another 40 to give themselves a chance, and not long to do it.
Jordan Clark, the new man in at number 8.
Run rate exactly 6 as it stands. What an excellent performance this has been by Kent. They're all engaged as well. Constant chatter, you can see it. Crawley going from long on to long off at the end of each over. He's very vocal as well down below us.
Lawrence goes leg side, but can only find the fielder. Klaasen strikes again. Both set batters for Surrey depart in the space of just 3 deliveries. And the home side now 98 for 7.
Yeah, again trying to fetch it from outside the off stump. He's given himself a bit of room to go over there, but good bowling again by Klaasen, who's just pushed it off to the offside towards the bigger side of the boundary, knowing that Surrey will target the shorter side. And again, another player caught in the deep.
Just the percentage of times today, Phil, where a Surrey batter has looked to go aerial and just haven't been able to time it.
Yeah, it's been a litany really, one after the other. The number of hit-me balls that have simply just been clothed and plinked and cuffed and skewed, and the fielders have barely had to move on that leg side. Lawrence will be really cranky there because it was a shot that he'd eyed up He'd set himself for it. It's a shot he plays so well. But nothing is running for the home side so far today. 98 for 7. It's an extraordinary scorecard, really. They need a few, or else this game is going to be a blowout.
Tom Law's in at number 9. Much handier batter than those career statistics suggest. Not played a huge volume of T20 cricket yet for Surrey. He's almost played as many games in the 100 as he has in the Blast.
They're in a bind now, really. They have been since that 5th wicket went down in the 12th over. Every time they've tried to twist, they've come unstuck. There's still 20 deliveries left.
Pace off again from Klaasen.
And with Majid and Topley 10 and 11, they're probably, that's a fair reflection of their talents with the bat. And so everything now hinges on these two. New to the crease, a single each to their name. It's a really tricky situation, this.
I think much as Surrey have been poor, you could count on one hand the amount of times they haven't hit the areas they want to hit.
Yeah.
I think they've been very good.
Bit of width, but straight to the man at deep point. 100 up for Surrey. It's 100 for 7, and they only get to 3 figures at the end of the 17th over. Innings run rate now below a run a ball.
You talked earlier about, Sam Billings and Adam Hollyoake and what's that like here. I mean, I think what's interesting is that Sam Billings, captain of the old Oval Invincibles, so he knows a lot of these players, inside out. He's trained with them. He knows how they work. He knows what they do. He knows their strengths. And I think you put that together with a great tactician like Adam Hollyoake and everything else. And I think that has been a sort of a masterclass in how to play against Surrey today. I think they've done everything really well. Sam, when they were warming up, he was a sort of full kit man when everyone else had their. I know that could be for the toss as well, but he's gone about his stuff really well. He's been super busy. He's been attacking when he needs to be attacking, and he's made sure that his bowlers have got hit where he's got protection, and he's done it really well today.
Milne to continue. 1 for 18 from his 3 overs so far.
Yeah, I'd agree with all of that, Ali. It's been a masterclass to watch. Very successful white ball skipper. He's done it well as a player and as a skipper throughout the world, really, for a number of years. But you can't teach the enthusiasm, that passion for the game that you see oozing out of him.
But that constant chatting, the batsman knows what he's saying. You're constantly looking around. He's almost taking the focus off.
He's off again.
Yeah, from what the batter is thinking, which is watch the ball and put it, hopefully out the ground.
Yeah, there's a small element of theatrics to it.
Can I just say that actually that's what I want to see more of? Yes, it's a very good piece of fielding by deep mid on, but that's the sort of pressure that Surrey have to be putting on the fielders every single time. And it didn't happen, they did get one from a misfield, but that's the way they've got to be doing it, because every run is crucial. This is going to be a low scoring game, but 135, 140 could get them something.
Pulled into the deep, but they've just not been able to find that boundary on the longer side of the grounds. Good piece of fielding again. Billings applauds it to be able to restrict them to just 1. Yeah, you can't really doze off if you're a Kent fielder, can you, between deliveries, because Sam Billings will be on your case.
Well, you'd be caught out, wouldn't
Yes.
you? He'd be shouting at you.
Yeah, Billings having a word. Is Joe Denley just signing some autographs?
Well, not anymore. He's not, because he's
Yeah.
been called out. And you're quite right. You can't do. I mean, as a fielder, you do want to go and sign. It's a family day here at the Oval today. You want to be signing in between gaps. You don't concentrate every single minute that you're out there. But yeah, as I said, Sam Billings thought that Joe Denley was not quite in position quick enough, and he was sent packing.
Short again. 1 again. Story of this phase of the innings. There have been 3 distinct phases to this innings. With the new ball, Kent were really threatening. Struck 2 times in the power play. And there was that stranglehold from the 2 spinners. 8 overs unbroken from Linter and Denley. And then now, towards the end of the innings, Milnes and Clarkson keeping things relatively simple, banging it in back of a length. It's the end of another very, very good over for Kent, just 4 runs from it. Surrey 104 for 7 after 18.
Do we need a concussion protocol for a clang on the head? Do we need a new helmet out there?
Yeah, I think we do. The umpire signal for the physio straight away. So we're going to have a brief delay, as our producer says. Speaking of helmets,
Yeah, decent crowd in today. Family day. Family zone just below us on the second floor here in the J.M. Finn stand. It's absolutely heaving today. A lot of kids with their 4s and 6 placards as well, desperate to get it signed. I've got two nephews in today, and first thing they wanted was to get their 4 and 6 signs and then get it signed, get it autographed by as many players as they can. Some of these things that they never run tired.
Clarkson to continue. Laws uses his feet, doesn't quite reach long on.
It's probably the first one that's dropped short of a fielder. It's been an extraordinary innings, this, really.
It's another one that hasn't been timed.
Yeah, just 9 4s and 2 6s across 18.1 overs. On a track broadly recognised as one of the best in the country, with a lightning fast outfield.
Big swing from Jordan Clark.
I think the thing now is that the players are looking for the boundaries, so they are going to swing and a miss, and there are going to be a few dot balls because Surrey are so far behind. I do think the wicket looks a little more worn than some others. There's been a bit of pace early on, wasn't there? So it's not the flat road that sometimes you can get here, and certainly not the last game here against Lancashire. It's not that wicket, but Kent have bowled very well in it, and Surrey will need to bowl equally well in the power play.
Not timed at all from Clark. He wants 2. Run out chance here. Ball goes to the wrong end. Out. Very good piece of work from Billings. Complete mix-up between Laws and Clark. Saw them both at the keeper's end. The ball comes through to the keeper's end, but Billings alerts to the chance, takes the ball and throws it with accuracy straight to the other end, and Surrey lose their 8.
I tell you what, that sums up so much of this innings for Surrey. Miscued shot into the offside, confusion reigns. Billings is alive to the scenario, picks it up one-handed, glove off, and then nails the throw. And look at that for an emphatic run out. 2 stumps uprooted, just the one remaining. That's the way to do it, no questions asked. Brilliant by Kent, problematic by the home team. And Reece Topley, still 9 deliveries left of this innings, and Reece Topley is with us, an authentic number 11, 106 for 8. Remarkable scenes here at the Kia Oval on a Sunday afternoon, where you looked at these two teams and you thought, well, it would be a slugfest really, but Kent have posed every question out there and answered them emphatically. Tom Laws, what can he excavate on his own here from the last 9 deliveries? It's got to be mainly him. He will be on strike.
Reece Topley in at 10, not something that we see that often.
He's got to find 15 to 20 runs from somewhere, isn't he? 121 a bare minimum.
Oh, drop chance, another run out chance, and it's another run out. 2 in 2 for Kent. It's all happening. Drilled to Clarkson. He drops a chance off his own bowling. But Reece Topley backing up at the non-striker's end, well out of his ground. And another example of a Kent fielder being very alert to the wicket-taking opportunity. And Surrey 9 down with more than an over left to go.
Very good piece of fielding. It would have been great caught and bowled, but to actually have the the wherewithal to pick the ball up and make the run out very impressive. Take away their 2 drop catches, I think they've been outstanding in the field. That's the only 2 mistakes they've made. I think they've been really good.
Yusuf Majid, the new man at number 11, and this Surrey innings falling apart. At the end of it, Jake Linton will probably get most of the plaudits. 4 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 19. But this spell between Matt Milnes and Fred Clarkson has been so important.
Yeah, there's so much though that you can commend. 8 overs between the 2 wrist spinners for 40, with 3 wickets to Lintott, and with Denley keeping it tight at the other end. Billings was almost toying with Surrey's middle order at that point, goading them to take a risk against the slow men, and the seamers collectively have been brilliant.
Oh, what a shot that is from Tom Laws. Helped on its way for 6, just the 3rd of the innings so far, and boy did Surrey need that.
Great shot. I mean, exactly what Surrey need. With 1 over to go, they need to find something they can defend. It's not a 120 wicket, but if they can just get past that, anything more than a runner ball, and if they bowl well, they're going to have to bowl really well in the power play. Kent have hit their straps every time. There'll be no gifts. There'll be no balls. Can't even. There might have been a wide, but I can't really remember it. But yeah, I think they've been outstanding, and they've rushed through their overs really quickly. They've been well guided from the top by Sam Billings, and they've been outstanding to this point.
Yeah, my point on the spell between Milnes and Clarkson is that actually Curran and Lawrence were building a partnership that looked like it could be threatening. We were saying that Surrey could realistically get to somewhere around 150 despite that earlier wobble. 95 for 7 turned into 106 for 9, now 112 for 9. It'll be Keith Dudgeon bowling to Yusuf Majid.
Full and straight.
Final over of the Surrey innings.
That's what he'll be looking for, full and straight.
Tip and run, gets off the mark, able to get the single, despite Bell Drummond being in very tight with an extra cover, and it brings Tom Laws on strike. I always love how, depending on which wicket falls towards the end of the innings, the role changes for someone like Tom Laws. If he's batting with someone like Tom Curran, it's get off strike. If it's with someone like Yusuf Majid, he's the main man.
Yeah, so does he give himself room? Offside, behind square, no coverage, just those 2 men inside the ring. Does he? He does try and give himself room, and the bowler senses it, follows him. Brilliant stuff. Again, Keith Dudgeon set the tone, didn't he? Right up top. He's finishing off well here.
It's a good point that Ali made earlier about just how disciplined Kent have been with the ball. Just 1 wide, no balls in the 19.2 overs so far. That wide, 1 for head for being too high from Matt Milnes earlier in the piece. And that's it. They've given Surrey so little in the field. Can they finish well here? Not timed at all by Laws. He wants 2.
Got to go.
We'll get to. Good running. Majid set up straight away. He was running to the danger end. Gets Laws back on strike. 3 deliveries remaining. Surrey 115 for 9. Feels like we've seen that ball so many times today. Short delivery, ricochet off Yusuf Majid.
Yeah, and that was a good decision. Sorry, Yas, that was a good decision by Tom Laws, who sent the junior man back, because on the bounce to deep mid-wicket, that was the perfect pickup, and you'd have been 5 yards shy either end. So good decision. This innings still has 2 balls to negotiate.
They were trying to get the extra run, weren't they, to get him back on strike, but unfortunately it wasn't quite Stokes-esque. The only way you can get the runs is if it goes to the boundary.
Yeah. What a moment that was.
Majid back on strike.
1 coming from somewhere.
In the air. Gone. That'll be that. Surrey 116 all out. An innings that never really got going at any point. Kent utterly brilliant throughout. All 5 bowlers used, right on the money. Fantastically disciplined in the field with the ball. So few loose deliveries, so few mistakes in the field. And the home side under pressure for the entirety of the 19.5 overs. Ali Brown, what a performance that's been from Sam Billings' side.
Yeah, they've been outstanding. I mean, a very disappointing finish, just about sums everything up. A single there and giving Tom Laws the chance to maybe get a boundary. Those 5 runs could be crucial in a very low-scoring game, but yeah, Surrey just not at the races to this point. It doesn't mean that they can't win the game, but they'll have to bowl exceptionally well in the power play. There is stuff in the wicket for both sides, I think, and but I think if they can bowl well and restrict, they'll give themselves a small chance. But Kent massively ahead, and I think they were brilliant. And I think that's one of the best bowling displays I've seen, most disciplined bowling displays I've seen. And if you take away those 2 drop catches, I think they were just outstanding in the field. There were some very good catches. Disappointing cricket from Surrey to this point. I don't think 116 really does them justice with the level of firepower that they've got. But every time they were trying to really push on, another wicket fell. And but credit to Kent. I thought they were outstanding throughout the 20 overs and were very impressive.
Yeah, here's a look at the scorecard. I guess, Phil, looking for any optimism, is it potentially that this is just a pitch where it is hard to get in and find rhythm as a batter? Look at someone like Jason Roy, who's in really good touch, 18 off 21. Dan Lawrence, naturally a very free-scoring, fast-scoring player, 16 off 20.
Yeah, perhaps, and we shall see. We shall see. It felt perhaps a bit too paced, but there were also, in truth, some poor execution deliveries that were there to hit. Laurie Evans in particular against a lowish full toss into that short leg side boundary, didn't get enough of it. That rather summed things up, really. It began as well with, right at the start, with Will Jacks, who was cramped for room, could only splice one up for an easy catch at short extra, and Sam Curran came and went. Again, he'll be looking back at that dismissal and thinking, well, it was there to hit against Jake Lintott, who picked up 3. He was excellent. Joe Denley in his slipstream as well. 2 very, very good leg break bowlers in tandem today. But for me, it was the collective seamers. They all stuck to their plans. They bowled the right side of the wicket. And I have to say, that was one of the most impressive all-round fielding and captaincy performances that I've seen around these parts for quite a long time.
Kent, outstanding in the field. Surrey requiring one hell of a turnaround to get a win in the bag today and going 3 wins from 4. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Kent required just 117 to win.
And what was those club experiences like as well?
Well, apart from the fact I could never score a run in club cricket.
No way! Jamie, Alice, let's go for a little cruise around the local manor. Hey Kia, take me to the Kia Oval. Do you know what? Because obviously I watch you guys play a lot. I have no clue about like your early journeys, how you got into cricket, why?
Early cricketing, I think it was parents just being me driving them mad, wanting me out of the house. I think nobody in my family played cricket, which is, I guess, a little bit unique. I was at my local cricket club, which was Sutton, but yeah, grew from there.
Come on, Alice, what about you?
Kind of similar actually. I think my brothers played it, and we just played it in the garden really. Yeah, just joined the club, played with the boys, and one of the boys there played for county, so that's how I found out what county cricket was, or like district cricket. That was the thing back then. So then just joined there, and then went through pathways.
And what was those club experiences like as well?
Well, apart from the fact I could never score a run in club cricket.
No way!
Never score a run.
Really?
Yeah,
Club pitches,
it's too hard.
It's a whole different ballgame.
It's too hard.
You need the M25, it needs to bounce, right?
It needs to be the oval.
It needs to be the oval, there's no run. What about road trips? Because I guess some of the county games, especially, you guys might have to do a decent... You're not going to drive all the time yourself, will you? So will you go in team buses or as in groups?
Yeah, we get a big team coach that we all get on.
And Alice, you were the first to mention when we got in the car who's playing the tunes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering, are you the DJ?
Me? No, I'm actually not the DJ.
But do you want to be DJ? That's the difference. Some people don't want it at all, and some people do want it.
So where are you?
I do not want it.
You do not want it at all?
No. Gus
Neither, to be
Atkinson's
fair.
probably ours.
Is he all over it?
Yeah, he's always putting some music on.
Is this like the best ground in the world?
Yeah, ranks #1. I think as a ground, obviously it's pretty iconic. You know, an incredible thing to experience as a county cricketer, especially of playing in front of full houses and the atmosphere it has. But yeah, it's definitely the best ground you can play at.
All right, Jamie, Alice, thank you so much for taking that incredible drive today. Hopefully we can do it again soon.
Thank you.
The sun came out for us today, that's great.
This is my city.
This is my home.
That has gone up the Hyde Road.
This is my family.
As easy as you like.
This is my summer. This is my game.
Another 6.
This is my team.
Champions playing like champions.
This is my London.
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 This is my London.
I'm a bit nervous in central London, you know, and I am currently on 9 points, so I've got to be a little bit careful.
Did you tell them that?
No, they don't actually know that. Hey, how are you? Nice to see you.
Hands poking out. All right, Rabs.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Looking very athletic in your fabulous Kia tracksuits.
There you go. It's like business class back here.
Rory, I remember when you were a young lad starting out at Surrey. What was your inspiration?
I basically wanted to do what my elder brothers were doing all the time. Yeah, I started playing at 6 for my middle brother's team in the under-10s.
Same for me. My older brother used to play alongside my dad. His team was short one day, so I filled the numbers in and played ever since, really.
Would there be a slightly mixed response with the boys and the men?
I found it was the parents more than the actual boys
really?
playing. You know, their little boy getting out to a girl.
Oh, right.
They never quite went down well.
Because we're in this fantastic electric car. I was wondering who's electric in the field, or who's someone that you play with that you think, wow, it just comes quite easy to them.
Probably Phoebe Franklin. She makes everything look very easy.
Certainly with teenagers, I think at schools, they're very keen that although your passion may be cricket, that you enjoy other sports and play multi-directional sports. Rory, I'm pretty sure you were a very good footballer, weren't you? Well, I thought you were anyway, but
Well, yeah,
maybe my base is quite low.
I was going to say, yeah. Thanks, Rams. I appreciate that. That's quite a nice footballer.
Get that in the edit.
Yeah, get that in the edit. Sam Curran, I've never seen him do anything wrong as yet, barring his football, which is terrible, so he's probably going against the rest of the question. But yeah, he's one of those people who just seems to pick those moments and really sort of set it alight.
I have just noticed that I couldn't turn left there, so I'm completely flummoxed now. Is that road open? Can I go left?
I think so. Unless we go right and we loop back round.
Well, I did thinking about doing
Well, it's
a
a lovely drive anyway in the Kia.
Well,
so.
do you know what? We are comfortable, aren't we? And I've had my heated seat on, which is fabulous. Rory, Bryony, thank you so much for accompanying me on that journey to the Kia Oval. I really hope you enjoyed the chat. I did, some inspirational stories and content in there, and best of luck for the season.
Thank you.
Cheers, Ramps. Appreciate it. Well driven, mate.
Thank you.
Lovely to see you.
Frying pan. Think I've got a chance. Golf club from a non-golfer. Interesting. Baseball bat. Baseball bat. Of course you did.
one we wanted.
Oh, shut up! Oh! Into the stands. Hey, that flicked it.
Welcome back to the Kia Oval. What a job this would be from Surrey if they could get over the line here. Defending just 116. If you're just joining us, the Surrey innings never really got going. In the end, 116 all out. Kent absolutely sublime across the full 19.5 overs. Jake Lintott, the pick of the bowlers, 4 overs, 1 maiden, 3 for 19. Keith Dudgeon, 2 for 22 from his 3.5. Matt Milnes, 1 for 22 or 4. And Joe Denley, 4 overs, none for 21. Reece Topley to Harry Finch, first up. Appeal for a caught behind, but I don't think Finch got that close to it.
I think that's what's known as the token appeal. Yes, the half, like the arm in the air, like, please sir, can I... Yeah, I mean, look, Surrey need to start really well here. They need probably 3 or 4 wickets in the power play, I'd imagine. But there was pace and bounce in the wicket to start with. So, you know, we're hopeful, but we need to be with only defending a small target.
Finch off the mark. Finch in the side for the first time this season in the blast. In for Twanda Muyeye. Kent following concussion protocols after he suffered a blow to the head in the field against Essex the other day. Reece Topley, ball in hand, he's been superb in the power play for Surrey so far this season. 2 wickets in the power play in each of Surrey's 3 fixtures so far. You feel like if Surrey do something special, he will be very much involved. And Bell Drummond off the mark too.
I think with the ball going across and the sort of pace and bounce that we saw in the first innings, I'd actually quite like to see a second slip. I think targeting that sort of area and going across. I like where the fielder is at backward point there on the boundary, which is good, and I like where the sort of fly 6th slip is on the ring. But yeah, I'd really like to see him go across, and I think with a bit of pace and bounce you can get quite a few dot balls and potentially an edge in there.
Driven nicely past mid-off, and Finch picks up his and Kent's first boundary. 6 without loss. Ali, you were telling me during the interval of a very similar game that you were involved with here 20 or so years ago.
Yeah, well, we got 119 against for 9, I think, against Hampshire, and which was well under par, 60 under par. But I think we had a wicket by now. So yeah, look, they'll need wickets, and they'll need them quickly. I think you have to have that belief, though. You can't. You've got to go in and say, right, we have enough, and this is how we're going to do it. If there's anyone out there who's thinking, oh well, we haven't got enough, you know, let's see how it goes and hopefully get their wickets. You've got to believe it right from the off. Kent would have believed it. It's exactly what Adam Hollyoake would say to his players. You have enough. This is how you've got to do it, and that's what Sam needs to instill in this side in a game that they really have to get ahead in.
Pulled that slip out now as well. Jason Royce in the covers now.
Pulled for 1. Kent 7 without loss after the first over. What do you make of that, Phil? Surrey defending 116 by the end of the first over. Not a slip in play.
Well, there was for the first few deliveries, but whipped out. Perhaps because it was the final delivery, wants to give his bowler a degree of coverage on that final that 6th and final ball, but it does feel a little bit passive, perhaps, a bit flat. Going to persist just with the one slip for Tom Curran here. There is, if you like, Reece Topley in a catching position as a deep gully right on the edge for that slash. And I feel that in close as well at short extra, that's Will Jackson there, but yeah, I don't think he can go for the jugular here.
Tom Curran with a new ball from the Vauxhall end. Oh, what a shot that is from Harry Finch. He's been in form in the twos.
He has. It's
He
his first game, isn't it? First game for any Kent senior side this year. But he's been in very good form for the twos. Doesn't have an enormous pedigree in T20 cricket, just strikes at 120. But you can see just in this short little package why he's been given the nod as Miye's understudy at the top of the order.
And that'll be 6. What a start from Harry Finch. Stable base. Doesn't really have to move that much. And he deposits a foolish delivery from Tom Curran. 15 rows back. What a start from Finch, as Phil says, in the side for the first time this season. Given an opportunity at the top of the order. Ali Brown, what a shot.
He's got a nice little technique, actually. He's just going back nice and still, and he just lifted it into the crowd. I think it's a couple of very good proactive shots. Very different for Kent as it is to Surrey. Surrey, we're thinking probably 1.5 a ball is probably where they want to be, maybe even 2 a ball, whereas Kent need only a run a ball, and they're well ahead of that already.
He's really on it here as Harry Finch. The adrenaline will be going, coursing through him. The beans will be going for this lad in his 31st year. Bit of a journeyman cricketer, but been given the option here, and he's come out flying. This game could run away from Surrey very, very quickly here if they're not careful. Could be done as a contest within the next 15 minutes unless they can start making inroads. Got to happen now. Field changing around, but still no slip.
Pace off and hit straight to cover. Yeah, curious career from Finch. Has been in the domestic game now for 12 years. 12 years since he debuted for Sussex in the Blast. But in T20 cricket in particular, he's not really had a prolonged opportunity at the top of the order. This is just the 5th time he's opened the batting in his professional T20 career. He's batted everywhere from 1 to 9. That's good cricket. Dabbed into the leg side. All the fielders back. And it's a single. 11 runs from the over with 1 ball remaining.
Don't really want to take that throw on for a second, bearing in mind it won the World Cup for us a few years ago from a similar position, actually.
That single brings Bell Drummond on strike. Slightly different field. Mid-wicket comes into the ring. The deep third man and a deep backward square leg. Another single. 12 runs from the over. Kent 19 without loss. Fewer than 100 runs to win now. A very basic level, Ali. They can't really afford many more overs like that.
Well, I mean, look, I think Kent have started really nicely. They haven't done anything. They don't need to do much, really. They'll be thinking, as long as we get a run a ball, win this game with a degree of comfort. Of course, Surrey need to be a bit more attacking, which they are. So, you know, Tom Curran's bowled that ball, which is a little bit fuller than the Kent bowlers have bowled, and it's been dispatched very well by Harry Finch. But yeah, it's a very different mindset because Kent are so far ahead at the moment.
Top lead to continue from the pavilion end. No slip in for Bell Drummond. He's faced just 2 deliveries so far.
Yeah, just a quick word on Chris Jordan. Looks like he's nearing full fitness, saw him bowling before this game, and they could do with him, you fancy.
Pulled in front of square from Bell Drummond. Good piece of fielding from Laws in the deep. Keeps it to 2.
Yeah, just lacking perhaps that point of difference pace in this attack.
It's actually interesting to see Dan Worrell warm up as well pre-match, because this is exactly the situation that you'd love him in. The first 3 overs, bowling from one end with a swinging ball is exactly what you want from him. You need wickets, and so it'd be good to see him back in the not too distant future.
Yeah, there's so much to like about Kent's performance in the field, but Keith Dudgeon really set the tone up top, and on Phil's point about there's a bit of point of difference in a pace attack. It was interesting to see his pace on the speed gun, hitting 84, 85 mph, but also the carry through to the keeper.
I think if you hit this wicket, you can get it to go through. Tom Curran's bowled a little bit fuller than Kent did so far, and with Topley, I think he could really hit the wicket and do some damage here. Kent finding width though, that's the thing.
There's a noticeable difference as well. I know obviously the game situation is completely different, so the comparison is an unfair one, but it's completely different vibe out in the field with Surrey compared to Kent. Kent from ball 1 to ball 119, full of energy. Billings tinkering with the field every delivery. Obviously different with the Surrey skipper Sam Curran at mid-on. His conversations are, I think it's fair to say, done slightly subtler than Billings.
Yeah, it feels like everyone's just a bit shell-shocked. You can sense it in the crowd as well. A murmur and a burble around the place. People still trying to come to terms with what they've seen here. I don't think we had a home blowout on our bingo card when we came in this afternoon. Surrey looked so good in this tournament overall. Put up 214 in their first and only game here with the bat. And so to fall over in a heap, it's caught everybody by surprise, not least the players themselves. Topley shaking things up now, going round the wicket.
I think you could argue that they've beaten Middlesex, haven't they, and they've beaten Lancashire. But in those games, you've got Lancashire got a couple of injuries. They've got Phil Salt potentially coming back. Joss Butler is another one as well. So they probably played them at the right time. And Middlesex are a side who don't actually have the best record in the competition. So you could say that their 2 wins have come from slightly lesser sides in the bottom of the group, and here they are coming up against a pretty disciplined side who have played really well. They look to have improved vastly on what I saw last year, and that they're proving that, well, at present they're not even second fiddle.
Round 3 of Pick the Prodigy. Get in touch, surreybroadcast@gmail.com. Who do you think that is? Tom Laws into the attack for the first time today. That's a harder one than the last one.
Yeah, it certainly is. I have an inkling, because he looks like his dad in that, to my mind. And his dad, if I'm right, his dad was a cricketer as well.
You're allowed to say who.
I think that's Reece Topley, because to me, that looks a bit like his old man Don. But again, that might be wildly wrong. Apparently, the great man, Toppers, is in the building somewhere. Oh, I do hope I'm right.
I really hope you're not, because that's an amazing thing to say about someone else as a baby. Bowled in, foot and straight from Tom Laws. Leg stump out the ground. And Surrey with an early breakthrough.
Yeah, look, exactly what they need. 84 miles an hour. He's hitting a very different length to the one that Kent hit. But yes, as we mentioned earlier, need to find in the power play 3 or 4 wickets to really give some elevation to the energy out there. I have thought that Surrey looked a little bit flat to this point, but wickets will certainly change that. They have to believe, they're just a couple of wickets away from 30 for 3, and then hopefully you've got a game on your hands.
It's a great piece of bowling, and it came out of nowhere, really. I think it surprised DBD as well. Played all around that. Just another little glimpse into what Tom Laws can offer you when his tail is up. He has pace and incision as well. So Surrey on their uppers, desperate for that wicket, and it now brings the mercurial Zachary Crawley into the fray. So if they can get the big wicket quick, and there is a slip in now, Jason Roy, if they can just pick up Crawley, then that window is prized slightly ajar, no more than that. They have to keep believing. 30 for 2, 40 for 3, suddenly there'll be a game on.
Yeah, and just a bit more energy in the field now from Surrey before this delivery. Laws into the new man Crawley.
Be interesting to see how much they target the stumps here, because Zach Crawley has been LBW a number of times. I'm not saying you're going to get necessarily nip or swing, but he has been LBW a lot, and I think this is probably quite a good matchup for Surrey. I think Tom Laws does like to target the stumps. He does go fairly full, and if he can get one just to sort of come back a little bit, it could be quite interesting.
Flicks into leg side for a single. Crawley off the mark. Laws, Phil, the kind of bowler who goes on streaks. He's a rhythm bowler, and his pace is up today. We've seen him in the Championship a few times. When he gets one, he can often take 2, 3 or even 4 in a spell.
He also looks a bit sturdier as well this year. He's filled out a bit. But you're absolutely right. That is his signature, really. He's a rhythm bowler and he's a wicket taker. It just occurs to me watching this game, I think it's the first time I've seen Zach Crawley in the flesh, watching him live and not being uptight, neurotic, concerned, fearful, gripped. Normally, of course, you see him in the whites of England, and he's a cricketer that has befuddled and beguiled me and many others for years now.
But I find the next chapter fascinating to watch as well.
Indeed that. You and I have spoken a number of times that we feel like he's potentially fabulous white ball cricketer, natural boundary hitter, brilliant fielder as well in the outer, really good hands. I saw him going long off today. And if he is going to redefine himself post-England, then perhaps it is in the white ball, where he might just free himself up a bit. And if you like, the treadmill of red ball cricket, where he does tend to get his front pad blown off more than a man should be able to cope with, really.
Oh, very, very close to a second wicket. Finch looking to access the fine leg boundary, very nearly chops on.
Yeah, I wonder if this could be his future. 20 overs, 100 balls, 50 overs. Be great to see it.
I think it'd be interesting to see him in the next few weeks, that freedom of finally having that decision made, which I think everyone knew was coming. Of course, the media would tell him in that. And I think now that it has been made, it's almost quite freeing that he can go, right, okay, it's been done. Now I can go and play. Because you do worry about it a lot, and he's constantly probably been thinking, well, if I can just get 100 against someone. Of course, he didn't get 100 against anyone in the 4-day stuff, but it doesn't stop him being a very good player. And the one-day game could really free him up for the next few weeks. And I think having Adam Hollyoake as a protective captain, he's turned off social media as well, amongst other things, is helpful.
That's gone a long way up into the air and straight to Tom Curran at mid-off, and Crawley departs. 2 off 5 deliveries. The Crawley show was a short one. And Kent now 29 for 2.
Yeah, it's an ordinary shot to say the least. In no position at all to play that. Can't really work out what he was trying to do. Hoik it over to the onside, I think. But he's in no position whatsoever. So 2 down suddenly, and Surrey are back in this one. Now, there was on our screens just a moment ago, in the pink shirt, the great Don Topley. The question is that photo of that young lad that we just saw his son or not? And I tell you now, I sincerely hope it is.
Actually, if you go back to that, I think that might be Sam Billings' father he's talking to.
There you go. So that is Billings Senior and Topley Senior. Yeah, deep in conversation.
Well, Topley Junior's having a fine season in the Blast. His 7th wicket in the power play. This competition in just 4 games. We saw Topley Senior and Billings Senior in the stands. There's going to be Topley Junior bowling to Billings Junior out in the middle. Bit of work to do.
It's interesting the amount, we saw Will Jacks miscue, get hurried by short balls. Zach Crawley the same. It's an interesting that so many good players have been surprised by the bounce, whether it is two paced or.
Well, I was going to say actually after, I think it might have been Crawley's first ball from Laws, it was just outside off stump. He looked to play it through the offside. And it felt like it was just a bit slower and lower than he anticipated it. Got sort of a bottom edge, ball went nowhere. So perhaps slightly too paced today. Short. There's an appeal for a caught behind. But much to Surrey's and the crowd disappointment. It's not only given not out, but given a wide.
It's like Panto in the crowd, isn't it?
Again, though, it has flown short of a length. There's a lot going on in this track. Surrey have to keep believing here. Get one more.
Yeah, that's a good shot from Finch. Punched past backward point. Boyd as well to cut the ball off before it reaches the boundary rope, but 2 more runs to Kent total. They're 33 for 2 after 5. So, round 3 of Pick the Prodigy. Phil reckons that's a young Rhys Topley because it looks a little bit like,
his
in
dad,
Phil's eyes, Don Topley. The answer is Rhys Topley, much to Phil's not only delight but relief.
Take the wins. How about that?
And there is Topley Senior back on screen. Right, Tom Curran back into the attack, so just the 1 over for Tom Laws. Whipped out the attack despite making that breakthrough.
Again, a lot of the Oval Invincibles here with Tom Curran and Sam Billings. They know each other well.
Good start from Curran. Ball jagging in off the pitch. Striking Billings on the thigh.
The energy here has just gone up more than a notch, hasn't it? And it's a bit disappointing that Surrey didn't start with this. I just felt that they were a little bit lumbered until they got a wicket, but now, you can feel that they got the pressure on. I know Sam Billings is a very talkative player, so they're probably trying to give as much back, but yeah, you can just hear them, the energy after a couple of wickets just going up.
Yeah, a lot of volume after every ball that Billings faces at the moment. Despairing oohs and ahs for a ball that was just pushed to mid-off.
Shows that they're thinking out there now. Trying to make a play, trying to create something. Trying to disrupt.
Surrey have to believe it. If Kent, if you look at their lineup, it's a long-ish tail. Fred Clarkson, Keith Dudgeon, Matt Milnes and Jake Lintott from 8 to 11. Oh, chipped, but safely. They've just got to think, can we get those 4 wickets that will expose that tail early enough for them to be in this game? If you're looking at comparisons between the two sides, Surrey were 40 for 2 at the end of the power play. Kent 35 for 2 with 2 deliveries of the power play remaining. Of course, the game completely changed after that when the 2 spinners came on, Lintott and Denley. 8 overs, 3 for 40 between them. Short and pulled. But like in the Surrey innings, straight to the man in the deep.
Yeah, another cross-bat shot where a batter's only got a piece of it. It's been a feature all day. Yeah, just going back as well to Kent's 2 spinners, they got definite purchase off this track. And so a key role you'd fancy Surrey's left-arm spinner, Majid, who's gone okay so far this year, really blossoming. He's picked up 4 wickets across the first 3 games and only got a bit of tap in that 3rd game, bowled a couple of overs for 23, but aside from that, he's been economical and incisive. Big role to play, you fancy here.
I mean, if they can just remove Harry Finch and then you've got virtually 2 new batters, then that's exactly when you want to play the spinner and create the dot balls, the pressure, squeeze in the field. I mean, Surrey will be looking at trying to put a couple of wickets on the score here, so 40 for 4 is what they'll be chirping probably in the middle, but said Harry Finch has looked pretty good so far, but if they can just get rid of him and bring in 2 new batters, then I think spin is a very good option to sort of squeeze in the middle.
Into the power play, Kent 37 for 2. I guess also when you're comparing the 2 sides, Kent's 2 spinners, both wrist spinners. We haven't actually seen finger spin yet in this game, and I think part of what made Lintott so threatening, certainly in the first half of the spell, was his ability to turn the ball in both directions. Change of ends for Tom Laws. He's back on, but this time from the pavilion end. Goes full again, and just a single.
I think what we've seen from Majid, though, is a lot of times he's bowled it into the wicket, hasn't he? And that could be quite interesting on this wicket. I think that sort of, you feel it's held a bit, I think, when the spinners have bowled in there. So I think that could be a very, a big positive for Surrey.
Yeah, it's something that Lintott looked to do for large parts of his spell. Denley performed a slightly different role with a longer leg side boundary. Very disciplined with his control of line. It's another single, but it's another ball, Phil, where high-class players not really timed it.
Yeah. Got to conclude it's not a coincidence. If you tot up the wickets to fall as well, and you set them against the pedigree of the players who have played the shots, then you have to start factoring in this pitch for sure.
Short, another appeal for caught behind, and another wide. And again, much to the crowd's disappointment.
I think, to be fair, you have to, as an umpire, you need to understand when they're appealing to try and calm the umpire that actually it's hit something, to not give the wide if they can put the element of doubt in there. But
yeah, Tom Laws had no faith in himself in that appeal. Threw it out there and took it back almost before he'd completed it. So these two just trying to settle things down here. Only a small partnership, but even just 12-13 inside the power play, just either side of it. It's all doing a job for Kent. They just have to keep their nerve here and suck the life out of this game. Billings is looking on it here.
the problem is that Kent can just play.
Yeah.
You know, a run a ball allows the them enough time to get used to the pace of the wicket, which means you can then start to target, be more aggressive, which of course Surrey didn't have because they felt a runner ball was well under par, which it actually was. But you know, I think that's the difference between the two sides.
Yeah, and this is the challenge with the spinners as well. As we say, that the pitch is taking a bit of turn, but these two and those to follow as well in the middle order have earned the right, really, by how brilliant they were in the field to just milk the spinners when they come on. So it's going to be a tough job for Majid and I guess Dan Lawrence as well.
Will Jacks, of course, too.
Yeah, yeah. I wonder if maybe now is the time for the left arm spinner and just try and crowd these two just for an over.
That'll be 4 for Finch. Slightly short of a length from Tom Laws. And a shot played with real authority. He moves on to 30 off just 21 deliveries. Already the second highest score that we've seen today. What a job he's performing for his side. A reminder, it's his first game of the season for Kent in the T20 Blast. Coming in for Tawanda Mayeye. Missed this game after suffering a head injury against Essex.
Yeah, and it's good to see because bringing a newbie in, you could have maybe shuffled things around, maybe moved Crawley up and brought Finch into the middle order, but they've gone like for like, given him his head. He's only made a couple of 50s in his T20 career, but he's well on the way to registering a third here. He's been excellent out there. Cut above all other batters in the game, in truth.
Jordan Clark on for the first time from the Vauxhall end. Yeah, interesting that we've not seen spin yet. This is the point of the innings where Kent's spinners really changed the game. Surrey had a period where they didn't really go anywhere from the end of the power play to around about the 10 over mark.
He's looked so good here, Yas. He's very still at the crease. Uncomplicated technique.
But that's the whole point of spin, that you have to then change your technique. You can't just go back, and then you've got to get forward to spin. And I think that's the difference. If you do that and then create a few dot balls and a little bit of pressure and potentially get Finch out, if Finch keeps playing, you know, he's playing really nicely. He doesn't look like he's just come in from nowhere. He's looked as fluent as anyone on the wicket, but he hasn't had that pace off, and that's what we want to see.
That's classic Sam Billings. Bit of invention, crouches down low and uses the pace of the ball to send the ball to the fine leg boundary. 2 boundaries in the space of 4 balls for Kent. And it brings up their 50, 52 for 2.
Yeah, just 2 straight, Jordan Clark. Angling down the leg side. Billings intuited it that it would be in his arc. Plays it beautifully. And more runs again round the corner. He's been 2 straight throughout this over, Jordan Clark, and the pressure valve is just loosening again here.
Interesting that Majid went finer there. I don't know whether that was a deliberate thing, but he started to go certainly finer, as if he played it again, that he might be able to get there. But yeah, good start from Sam Billings.
He's defending 116. Really, really can't afford too many brief bursts where the opposition get away 2 boundaries in quick succession. Kent just need another 64, that required run rate. It's only just above 5 runs per over.
Yeah, exactly that. 5.2 and a bit required rate. So they've got to bowl them out. Simple as that. Even if it's a 1 in 20 shot from here, got to try and find a way. Change up the pace. It's all a bit too predictable here.
Direct hit. Not out. I've got to say, it's a brilliant piece of fielding in the deep, but also brilliant running from Sam Billings. He called too early. It's the shorter side of the ground. Good hustle. 9 runs from the over. Surrey 55 for 2. You see here, Billings calls for 2 straight away. He's running to the danger end, and despite a direct hit, he's actually home pretty comfortably. Make sure you check out all the latest Surrey stash in the Surrey online shop. Some lovely stuff in there, including replica shirts and training gear. Some great Surrey tees and caps from New Era and 47.
I picked up a white floppy last week from the Surrey shop.
You know what I got recently that is superb? You might not like it, but I love it. It's the Surrey Football Club top. So they've released a football shirt with the Surrey branding on it. Slightly Sheffield Wednesday, but I wore it yesterday when I was playing cricket before the game, and it's the highest concentration of compliments I've had for anything I've ever worn.
Slightly Sheffield Wednesday, so they've had some issues, haven't they, in the last year? What do you mean by that?
In terms of the colour scheme,
all right.
In the colour scheme, white and blue.
Well, I've worked with you for many years, Yas, and your sartorial elegance is... You're not renowned for it, let's put it that way.
I don't think that's unfair.
So you take your wins when they present themselves. Got yourself a new blazer, though, haven't you? Been seeing that on you as you make your way around the freelance circuit.
It's not new, just rarely seen. Anyway, Yusuf Majid. First sign of finger spin today.
Yeah, but again, it's a set field. I can't help thinking. I mean, what do you do here, Ali Brown?
Well,
what are you asking for as a left arm spinner? Forget that he's still a young lad. What are you asking for in his shoes? Because bowling to this field, when the required rate is comfortably under a run of ball, it's a tough gig, isn't it?
Well, as a batsman, there's a run at point, there's a run anywhere on the leg side, and bearing in mind they need 5.29 and over, that means the run rate comes down. So I think really you need to take risks because of the position that they're in, and right now it's sort of plain sailing. I think they could play for the next 3 or 4 overs and just go at 6 and over, and the run rate comes down to under 5s. So where's the pressure in that? And they need to do something. They need to try and say go and hit over there, and if they do, but they need to create a mistake, and at the moment it looks very easy for Kent.
It's a good shot from Finch, bit of width and cut hard with the back foot through cover for 4. 7 runs from the over. It's another good over for Kent there. 62 for 2, and they're more than halfway there now.
Yeah, there's not much on that delivery really. It's rather telegraphed, driven into the pitch, sits up, good pace to hit. Just 55 needed now. Feels like a cakewalk out there.
Yeah, it's a bit of a drag down, but as I said, the field that you've got there, anything at point, you don't need to get it too short, but then it is dragged down a bit, and that's of course gone for 4 as opposed to 1. And again, we're looking at 5 and over. You need wickets. You need to be looking at 80 for 5, and if you don't get that, I think we're done.
What a shot that is from Sam Billings. For a brief moment, I thought Dan Lawrence might be in the game there on the offside boundary. But Billings charges Tom Laws, picks up 4, 2 boundaries and 2 balls. Kent just need another 51.
Great shot, well timed, nearly got too far away from it, but actually just absolutely nailed the shot. I think Dan Lawrence thought he was in the game for a little bit, but the power was too much.
The required run rate now just 4.78 runs per over. And that energy that Surrey had in the field, that extra spring in their step after they picked up the wicket of Zach Crawley with the score on 29. But it's not really there at the moment. Billings uses his feet again, doesn't time it that well, but gets enough on it for the ball to reach the shorter side of the ground. Another boundary to Billings, another boundary to Kent.
To be fair, Yas, that energy left 3 overs ago. It's not just happened now. It was a brief, we've got another wicket, but yes, okay, you know you're under the pump because you haven't got enough runs, but I just think it's you look around the field, there's sort of shoulders there that think this game is done, and they just need a couple of wickets, and something could happen.
Billings uses his feet again. That's another glorious shot. Over extra cover, couple of bounces for 4.
He enjoyed that one, Yas.
He did indeed.
Yeah, the back foot coming through, a little kick up, as if to say, yeah, that one's right out the screws. There you go. Just a little kick. Really showing his class, both as a skipper, leader, strategist, and of course with the bat. He's been a fine player for a number of years.
Billings diving back to get into his crease. The shy from Jordan Clark strikes him. In the end, just a dot ball.
I think it's Kent will now be thinking what they can do about run rate. I mean, as it gets to 4.23, as you target the 30 or 40 that you need, you just want to see, can I get that run rate up? Because it's not just getting back another win. You know, at the end of the day, with a front 3 that are all 2 and 1, run rate's very important.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, especially considering after Kent's heavy defeat to Essex, their net run rate is actually in the negative despite winning 2 from 3. A bit more agricultural this time from Billings. It's a brilliant piece of work, and the boundary by both Reece Topley and Yusuf Majid, who between them somehow cut off the boundary. In the end, it's just 2. 14 runs from the over. Kent 76 for 2.
Yeah, and it's a procession now, 14 from that, as Yas says. Sam Billings been the player of the day. And Harry Finch as well, who actually, for mine, carries some of the mannerisms of his skipper as well. Yeah, they both have the same bat sponsor, similar height and build. Both wear the sweatband on the front arm. They're both busy. They both twirl the bat just before they settle into their stance. Both keeper bats as well, of course. And they're winning this game. 47 their partnership now.
Were you a twirler, Phil?
No, I wasn't actually. Tried to do it.
Dropped it?
Tried to copy the gaffer, who was the arch twirler of
he was a twirler
of our era, Ali. But no, I could never quite get the knack of it. I mean, I tried, of course. Every affectation in the book. Don't worry about that.
Thought you were going to quibble with the tense that Ali used there.
Yeah, well, of course. Still playing league cricket, thank you, Mr. Brown.
Yeah,
for the record. Had a TFC last week. Yeah, down to bat 4. And as that run rate continued to climb, I continued to move down the order. But it's all right. I've moved on. I've made my peace with it.
Did you pay match fees?
Yeah, I have an arrangement. Let's put it that way. I have an arrangement. I help the club out. On and off the field. More so off. Again, just another dart into the pads. It's all too easy. Scampering back. They're not going to die wondering here, these two. They want to get this done fast. As our boys in the Compok say, run rate is relevant here. It's going to be a very dense South group, you fancy. Essex look like they're probably, in fact, they're almost certainly going to get a win as well. So they're on a bit of a run. Surrey now going to be 2 from 2. Two wins and then 2 defeats. And so they'll be back in the pack, assuming this one goes the way it looks. 50 partnership as well, the two of them now. 52 now these two have put on. They've done it really well. Yeah, it'll be a disappointment for this crowd today. I mean, the majority, of course, would have seen 2 good games. Some really good ebb and flow game earlier in the piece, Surrey women against Somerset women, but this game has just failed to catch fire, and sometimes you just get that. No rhyme or reason for it. Sometimes a star-studded lineup just falls over in a heap.
It's a good benchmark of where Surrey are at the moment, though. I think this is a side that, from what I've seen today, could make finals day, potentially at the expense of Surrey. And it's a, when they play each other, it's I think Surrey are going to struggle to finish second here at this rate, and I think they're almost trying to extend the game with the actual field that we've got. There are singles everywhere. They need under 4 and over. They've got 8 wickets in hand.
Yeah, Surrey's key batters are just failing to fire at the moment. Ollie Pope's had 4 innings now for a highest of 31. 2 binary scores and a 10.
I think that's been the difficult thing for Surrey. There have been too many starts, good starts, that haven't actually gone on. And to actually get those big scores, you need one player to go on and get that 100 or 80 or whatever they need.
Runs coming easily here now.
And that just hasn't happened this year. So I know Sam Curran played very well against Middlesex, but we haven't really seen. We've seen some great starts, but it's an exceptionally good team out there. So it just needs 1 or 2 of them to go on and really show their class, show off how good they are. Because there are hundreds in there. You could the top 4, all of them can score hundreds.
That'll be 4 more. It's well played. Just got enough on that. So Harry Finch now just a couple away from what would only be his 3rd career T20 half century. Deserves it. He's played really well. Taking his chance.
He's played really nicely here. Looked the most at ease batter on display, really, across both sides. Just to Ali's point, there's an extra urgency to the Blast this season. It's a shorter competition, just 12 group stage games. It's a really competitive South group: Hampshire, Kent, Essex, Middlesex and Sussex. And the format is the top 2 from each group go through to the quarterfinals, plus the best 2 third place teams. So 3rd place might be enough to qualify. You don't have loads of time left. These games come thick and fast.
I remember back in the day I was playing at Notts, I think we had about 16 or group games. So you get halfway through and you think it's just, there was a gap and there was just too many. I like the fact there are less games, but when we first started there were less games that you played, but I think that's how it should be, more intensity on it. But yeah, we need more intensity from Surrey in these games going forward.
Hit hard, but straight to mid-off. Billings is frustrated with himself. So it's all looking rather bleak for the home side. 90 for 2 and just 27 needed to get this one done. Just going through earlier games in the tournament for Surrey, and just on your point about this batting lineup flickering but not really doing it as a coherent unit yet. Well, the numbers do bear that out. Just the 1 half century across the 4 games that they've played here. Even in that 213 that they made against a depleted Lancashire side, no one made 50, apart from Sam Curran's 71 not out. The unit have just touched around the edges, really, of form. So 1 or 2 questions that they need to ask at the end of this one. Lawrence, reverse sweep, that will run away. It just picks up pace with the spin. Brilliant stuff and richly deserved. Harry Finch has batted beautifully today, 36 deliveries for his 53, and he acknowledges all 4 corners of the ground. It will mean a lot to him. His first outing for the senior side this year. Come in as an injury replacement from Mayeye. He takes his chance brilliantly. Make that 4 more. This is going to be done in a hurry.
Certainly asked the question for the next game. You can't really leave a player out. I think it's played incredibly well. 57 off 37. Hasn't looked out of place. I think he set the momentum at the start by hitting Tom Curran into the stand, which I thought was a great shot. And he's seeing this game through with aplomb.
Yeah, he certainly is. And this good crowd are going to be heading home a bit earlier than expected at this rate. More runs, just a single. Did you have any inkling coming in here, Yas, this afternoon that this game would play out like this?
Not at all.
I didn't see a blowout, I have to say. Thought there were two very nicely matched teams, actually.
Yeah, so I did think coming in that despite Surrey's excellent record in the last group stage of the last couple of years, this Kent side, who got through to the last 8 last year anyway, I think they look really, really strong on paper. It's a very, very good bowling attack with lots of exciting stroke players in their top 6 too. You add Billings's captaincy and the immense experience that he brings too. They were a really interesting and fun T20 side, so I thought that Kent were definitely going to be competitive today. And I think that, as we've discussed already today, Surrey, despite the star-studded nature of their 11, haven't been flawless, even in victory at times this season, even when they scored 213 against Lancashire. You'd almost say that wasn't spiritually an innings that was worth 213. It was a brilliant hand by Tom Curran at the end to get them there. But they did wobble a little bit, and as Phil says, only one player's got a 50 for Surrey so far this season.
I think they've been bailed out.
So more shop promo, the latest merch. Go to shopkiaoval.com and look, there is the Surrey Football Club shirt right on the edge there. Dom Sibley looking quite the picture in it. So that's what you've bought, Yas, is it?
Yeah, and the only
you
option,
are shameless.
The only option at the shop at the time when I got it was you could only get it with Sibley's name on the back. So I've got a Sibley 45 strolling the streets of Camberwell.
That'll be on Vinted in a few years' time. Go through the roof. Majid this time from the Vauxhall end. It's all very much of a muchness now for Surrey, unfortunately. This game is long done. Just going through the last knockings of it. Sometimes them's the breaks. You can't have a humdinger every time.
Yeah, just going back to what we're saying about their batting, they have been bailed out by a few innings. Jordan Clark, you had Sam Curran, Tom Curran, who have got them to the scores in those games. And really, you should be looking at that top 6 to be building most of that. I know Sam Curran is in that, but the top 6 really needs to be going on and setting up those and getting more.
That's a fabulous shot. Well conceived shot. Knows that there's vast space above and beyond through extra cover, and a shot that really does illustrate how well he's played today, Harry Finch. Breakout knock for him.
Yeah, a mightily important performance within the context of this game, but a mightily important performance for him too. 31 years old, coming into the side for the first time this season in the Blast, replacing a really important player for Kent in Tawanda Mayeye. And as Ali says, he's got to play when Mayeye's available again. How they configure that top 6 when everyone's available is an interesting question, but he's played so well here.
Glorious this time. Sam Billings now. 1 bounce 4. He's played with a bit of, well, imperious class this afternoon.
Just the way they played the spinners. How Kent... I don't think there's a massive... It's not like the Kent spinners were awesome. I just think if you look at the proactive way that Kent have played the Surrey spinners and vice versa, there's just a chasm in how they play them.
3 to win. Has he got enough of it? He sure has. Emphatic as it gets. Spitfires get it done inside 14 overs. Chased down 118 with no bother at all. Just that mere hiccup when they lost a couple of quick ones, but Finch and Billings came together, settled the nerves, and then expanded rather beautifully across this balmy Sunday afternoon here at the Oval. The crowd will feel as if they've left a few out there. Some very, very fine players who will look back on this afternoon and wonder how they've managed to hole out and not quite get it done, really. For Surrey, it will be a sobering evening tonight. 116 all out. And then they didn't really threaten at any stage with the ball, just a wicket apiece for Topley and Laws. But thereafter, Finch and Billings, just a stroll in the park, really. Spitfires look good, Yas.
They look very good. They were as good as you'll see in the Blast this season in the field. All 5 bowlers used were superb. 3 distinct phases of the innings. With a new ball, they were threatening, bowled with good pace. The spinners, Denley and Linter, basically unhittable. 8 overs for 40 between them. Linter picked up 3. And at the death too, they managed the ground dimensions brilliantly. Just 1 extra through wides and no balls today. So they were outstanding. And then with the bat too, any tension that existed pretty much disappeared straight away with the way Harry Finch played up top. I know they took those 2 early wickets, but Billings was superb too. Finch with career best score of 64 not out, and then Billings initially just managed the game really well, and then he had some fun at the end.
Ali Brown, you've been in 1,000 dressing rooms over the years. What do you think Surrey will be saying to themselves in the dressing room after the dust settles on this one?
Yeah, I'll be honest, I can't think of a flatter performance in the last few years than this one. I really can't. I think no one went on with the bat. I don't think the wicket was as bad as, there's some pretty poor dismissals in there. I didn't see any imagination in the field. I saw a side that felt, we're well under par here. They should have been getting 160 plus. So when they go in there, you can't just, this is 2 losses on the trot, and you can't go in there and go, okay, well, you've got to sit down and actually say, right, that side, to have those 2 performances, and this is as flat a performance as I've seen, you need to say, right, they're a very good team. They've got some exceptional players in there of international class, and they've just been, comfortably put to one side with, yes, a very disciplined Kent side. I thought even when they warmed up, they looked very professional. They were absolutely up for it. Come the game, I thought they were very good. Those spinners, I mean, you're not going to see Denley bowling spin for England. It's not like, and these are good players of spin, and I think, Dan Lawrence, who is an exceptional player of spin, really in his shell today against that matchup, Lawrence versus Denley. You think, well, that's a good matchup for Surrey, but actually we didn't see anything from there. So, Adam Hollyoak there is probably thinking, I can't believe you rolled over and had your tummy tickled, which is basically what's happened today. Ultimately, you put it down and say, well, okay, that's happened. You can't do anything about that, and we've got to improve going off. But yeah, there's not a lot to take from that performance, but every game's different. They are players in good form, but they're finding some ways to get out, and I think that when you saw Jason Roy and Ollie Pope both get out to sort of flat shots that didn't quite clear, they're not a long way away from where they should be, but they need to improve on their performance today.
Yeah, it's just a word as well on what Adam Hollyoak is building here with Kent. As we said earlier, it was a tough year for him in the job last year. They've made some changes as well, taken the club away from social media to protect the players, and they've had a really good month or so. The back end of the last 2 or 3 weeks of the Red Bull first half of that campaign, and then running really hot into this tournament. And fair play to him.
Yeah, he had a really tough first year in the job. Copped a lot of criticism from the Kent faithful, but I think something that probably goes underappreciated from the outside is just how difficult a job it is to turn around the fortunes of a county with less financial flex. And they've made some really canny signings, some of whom that we've seen today. Matt Milnes back at the club after a brief stint at Yorkshire. Keith Dudgeon in as an overseas again. Jake Linter in on loan from Warwickshire. And they're doing well. It's not just the 11 out there today. There's Tawanda Muyeye, Akash Singh, and Ben Dawkins as well.
Yep.
There's a lot to like about Kent at the moment, and after a really difficult period, it feels like they're just coming out on the other side of it. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if this ends up being a memorable year for the Spitfires.
Yeah, well said. And with Muyeye to come back into this team as well at some stage, the star player, of course, then there's strength in depth. Harry Finch and Sam Billings have taken top billing in this game. Billings was sensational, I thought, in the field. There was a real ringmaster element to the way that he called all the shots, and you felt like he was one step ahead at all stages with Kent in the field. And then he played very nicely in the slipstream of Harry Finch, who finished 63 not out. Not much to talk about in truth, really. It was a fool's errand for the slow men, Majid and Lawrence, coming in where there is next to no pressure. You can't really squeeze. And so there's just those single wickets to Laws and Topley. But aside from that, day of hard yakka for the hosts. And there is the summary. 116 all out. Only one player for Surrey getting to 20. Tom Curran played nicely for 32, but the rest, in truth, flattered to deceive. One or two ignominious shots within there as well. And with the ball, Kent Spitfires were simply superb. The seamers hunted en masse, and the spinners in Lintott, who was class, and Joe Denley, who always offers something as well with his wrist spin. Well, they were just irresistible today. So there you go, a blowout, chaps. Didn't see that coming. Kent Spitfires win by 8 wickets, and they now move joint top of the South Group. Surrey played 4 and a couple of wins, and now 2 back-to-back defeats. So a little rethink might be on the cards ahead of the real business end of this tournament. From us, myself, Phil Walker, Yas Rana, Alistair Brown, and of course the whole team here, thanks so much for your time, and we will be back before you know it to cover literally every single ball of this summer for both men's and women's cricket. Thanks so much for your time, and we'll see you soon.